Hey guys, today's video is 6 surefire questions to attract younger women. So this is dating tips for men over 40. Point number 1 is the pick up waitresses question. So this is also other service workers in general, yoga teachers, etc. This video is designed to make sure you never run out of things to say when talking to a beautiful younger woman ever again. So you won't ever have to feel uncomfortable getting stuck with conversation where things get potentially a little awkward and you might just run away. So one of the last points we'll go through is an absolute must know to ensure you're never lost for words if you suddenly have the opportunity to approach a beautiful woman that you see. This on its own is such a powerful tool that will give you a simple strategy to start any conversation. And you'll know exactly how to start talking to her so you don't need to chicken out. James is going to be joining me in just a second. Hi, James.
Okie dokie. Hello, guys. How you going, fellas? It's your favorite Aussie dating coach, James here. So yeah, what I used at Maya's Sunglass Hut in the city is, so Louisa, tell me your favorite thing to do when you're not selling Ray-Ban sunglasses in Sunglasses Hut, Maya City. And that ended in some horizontal fun. So yeah, that's what's called a transition question. This is where so many guys get lost. They have this great opportunity. It might be a waitress, it might be a barmaid, it might be a yoga teacher, it might be a personal trainer, it might be a checkout girl, it could be anything. It could be a girl working at a hostel or a hotel receptionist. Any number of things. You get this opportunity, but you're like, oh, okay, yeah, well, these sunglasses are great. And yeah, you're really helpful. But how do you actually start to make the thing sexual, start to take it somewhere? So what you want to do is you want to transition. You want to transition to what she's interested in, her hobbies and interests. So we call it a transition question. We teach it on day 2 of our boot camp, and guys think it is genius. I was doing a boot camp in Hong Kong where I managed to get 2 girls and everyone gave me an amazing review. And I basically was just demonstrating in front of my clients, and there was a really attractive girl. It turned out both her older sisters were models. And I go, oh, so tell me, what do you most love doing when you're not waitressing in Hong Kong? Then she told me about she was studying and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the point is, it makes it it's not just about you and the shoes you're buying or you and the drink you're buying. It's about you and her when you start to ask her hobbies and interests. So did you have any questions on that? Tess, do you want to add anything? I think you did a bit of barmaid work at one stage. So talk about, yeah, you definitely have. So talk about some of the guys there who probably wanted to get into your pants, but were just far too awkward. And there might have been 1 or 2 of those guys who are pretty cute and interesting, but there was never this non-work connection made. So nothing ever happened. Just if you could share your experience on that, please.
Yeah, so well, what's really common is guys will be like, oh, hey, how's your night going? And, talk about things related to the setting. So, working in hospitality, talking about the bar or the restaurant or the cafe or the shop, and what that is, it just becomes, you just get stuck in that setting. And when you make the transition question, when you say, oh, so, what do you enjoy doing on the weekends when you're not working in this cafe or this bar? What you're doing is you're sending her the message that I'm actually interested in getting to know you as a person. This isn't just some superficial, chit chat. I'm just, that I'm having with a random person that's in this bar. I'm actually interested in getting to know you. So that's really important. And it's important to do that as soon as possible. Because if you do get stuck in that boring chit chat, within that setting, she's just like, oh God, I've had this conversation a million times with a million people. It's like not creating an impact whatsoever. It becomes really boring for her. And it's all of that time that she's, you're creating a poor first impression. So we want to create the strongest first impression as possible. And send her the message that I'm actually interested in getting to know you, not just talk about boring work stuff.
Your barmaid girls, your barmaid days are a long, long way behind you. But can you remember anything from that you could shed some light on this for guys, because just my experience, because whatever, I'm an expert dating coach and extremely good at reading women's signals, you'd hope. I'm always seeing these times where the woman really likes the guy and she's given all the signals, but the guy's just clueless, just sitting on this one track of conversation, and eventually the girl just gets bored. Did you have anything you can think of from your time working in different service industries?
I mean, it is just, yeah, I mean, the thing is, working in service, obviously you're getting paid to provide good customer service. So you do have to be friendly to people. And when they're asking you questions like, what's good to order on the menu, and what's your favorite drink here and stuff, even if they might be trying to, to converse with you because they're interested, as a service worker, you're like, okay, are they just wanting to know what to order because, for their own experience, or is it more than that, even if there is some level of sexual tension. So getting outside of that setting is really, really important. And yeah, there were definitely multiple times when I probably thought a guy was cute. and yeah, there was good eye contact, etc. But things didn't really progress from there. So
that's awesome. Tim Ferriss has this great line, which I swiped: never ask like a famous or very high status person something you can Google or ask AI. So never ask a hot girl something you can Google or ask AI. Ask her about her, because that's when you can make a personal connection. So Tess, just want to say a quick hi to the regulars. We might do one more point, then get into some good questions there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome.
I think a bunch of regulars here. That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, a few familiar names. We've got Jeff, Wayne. Always nice to see you guys. A few new people as well. 1107212. Welcome. I don't recognize that name. Stevie, we've seen you here before. Nice to have you. Anthony, I think you might be new as well. Welcome. David, hey, nice to see you as always. So we're also here to answer any of your questions, guys. Anything that comes up related to the content that we're delivering, we're here to help you as much as possible. So chuck your comments in the chat. We love all of your engagement, positive, negative, pushback, whatever your questions are. Or if you just have any sticking points as well that you want some general advice on, we're here to help you. So get involved in the chat. And a few questions already coming through.
Rangers as well. We might just do one more point before we jump on. Any questions on how to pick up waitresses, barmaids, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, someone's calling me. Shut up. Oh, Jesus Christ. Tess.
I'm just going to mute you. Okay. Let's have a look. James, I've muted you, so you can unmute yourself when you're ready. Okay. Let's see who's here. Genius can't fail question. I'll let James introduce this one. But let's just address this question from Stevie quickly. How important is emotional intelligence and listening skills when dating much younger? Okay, these are really important in dating in general. Listening skills are like conversation skills are one thing, but your conversation skills will never progress unless you can listen. And listening at a higher level, at an advanced level, will make you stand out beyond anything else. It's because so many guys can't do it, especially when they're like intimidated by this beautiful woman standing in front of them. It just goes out the window. They can't concentrate. So listening skills is absolutely so important. And dating in general, younger women, yes, absolutely. Emotional intelligence is also important. I would say not as important as listening skills, but emotional intelligence, I think for yourself is really important, which means that you're able to be mindful of your own emotions, so that you're not being reactive or reacting to any tests, let's say, that she might be putting up. That's really, really important. But also, I guess that also plays into you being understanding female signals, but also when she is testing versus not, and also whether she wants more or she's a little bit uncomfortable, that sort of thing. That's really important.
Great question, Stevie. Can you unmute me?
Yes, I've unmuted you. Yeah.
No worries. Emotional intelligence, depending on the exact definition, it might be what you would refer to as female psychology, Tess. So it's incredibly important knowing exactly what's going on with a woman emotionally in different points. So much of there's the basic level of getting all the mechanics right, but so much of your success beyond that is being able to sort of read a woman's emotional state and know how to react to it. It really is. That is the main game. Because once you start to get good, you realize your biggest sticking point is women are very nervous and they just pull out and freak out when they get too nervous or they get too attracted. So then you've got to learn how to sort of manage that as well. That's a fantastic question. So emotional intelligence, which we might refer to more as female psychology, is just mission critical. And listening skills, which we say over and over again, it's one that pretty much every guy just sucks. And a lot of girls suck too. Just the ability to stop and just turn your mind off and listen to another person like you're meditating must be one of life's great superpowers. Okie dokie, the genius can't fail question. Tess, I don't know if she's done 1,000 or 1,500 or something. I mean, I must have done 300-400 plus well over 100 boot camps. The biggest problem guys have is they run out of things to say. Even girls where, the girl falls in their lap, it's their friend's sister or some girl at work or some girl on some sporting team or something. The girl likes him. The girl's crazy about him. It gets this uncomfortable moment. It's like, and she looks at him and he looks at her and he freaks out and his heart rate jumps up 25 beats per minute and her heart rate jumps up 35 beats per minute. And then, there's just no sex coming out of that. And, like 10 seconds of uncomfortable silence, I mean, that might turn you from a 9 into a 5. Is that an exaggeration, Tess? It just kills so much of the sexual vibe that was pulled up. So we're going to solve that for you for the rest of time. You ready? Tell me about whatever the hell she was talking about before. Tell me about your surfing. Tell me about your holiday. Tell me about your job. Tell me about why you choose that brand of tampons. Tell me about your dog. Tell me about whatever the hell you were talking about. All you do is remember the broad subject matter of what she was talking about and insert "tell me about" in front of it. This is so powerful. I've used it myself to rescue myself when I'm like, whatever, I had a stressful day. I'm not very smooth here. Something just distracted me. I'm on a YouTube live and someone calls me when everything's blocked. He must have called me 2 or 3 times to get through to me because I asked him a favor at short notice. Just when you have those moments where you're thrown, tell me about is your get out of free jail card. All you need to remember is broad subject matter about what you were talking about in the last 5 minutes. Throw 3 words ahead of it and you're saved. And not only you're saved, you're doing better than the average guy. Where Tess is talking about surfing, you're like, tell me about how tall your surfboard is and what sort of waves you ride and which is your favorite beach. They ask stupid triple barrel facts and data boring questions. If all you do is like an automatron and go, tell me about, you're probably going to do better than 90% of guys, as long as you can throw something else in there. Tess, given you're the world expert at getting guys to just say, tell me about, give me the beautiful female perspective on this.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. This is one you definitely need to remember. It's pretty much the most open question you can ask, because you're not saying tell me about this aspect of something. You're just saying tell me about your surfing. So tell me about your yoga or whatever it is. So she can go into whatever she wants to talk about. You're really just allowing her to take it in what direction she wants to go in. And it's so easy. It's just so simple. It's so simple. So simple is good. The more open, the better. So and sometimes, we're going to give you like a really great way to start conversations. Sometimes if you can't remember any of the information she's given you, you can always just go a step back to that. Like, oh, so tell me about something else, related to the first question you asked. So again, it really is the best safety blanket you can have in conversation. It's such a good go-to. So don't forget this one. Tell me about, or tell me more about.
Yeah, it really is a get out of jail free card. It's almost miraculous. Who would like my number one model bonking question of all time? If anyone would like that, just say, I guess, model bonking question in the chat, and I will tell you how we can do this for you. So
I think someone's already asked a question specific to that. Wayne was asking, what's a good question to get it sexual, James? So this might answer your question, Wayne.
Great question. Let me just put this in the... Now, this is to bonk high-level girls. Can you say bonk without getting conquered? Did a link go in there? I don't know. I screwed it. Can't post contents to some destination. Anyway, I don't know what's happening. This is weird. Why can't I post in StreamYard? So yeah, my number one model bonking question of all time. Anyone who just puts their email in here, and you're going to get something incredibly valuable anyway, will get my number one model bonking question, which is so good. I only give it to my clients. It really helps you build a deep connection with women. I got to Tess, I'm just going to send it to StreamYard. I'm not sure
send it to me.
I'm not sure what's going on with mine, but it won't let me post for some reason. So just post that. And then what was Wayne's question? Sorry.
It's on the screen now.
Oh, good on you. What was your question? Tess has put it on the screen. What's a good question to get sexual, James? Well, let me get back to my banners. I think we're going to have banner on getting sexual very, 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 very shortly. Maybe just for... No, okay, Wayne, we'll wait 1 second. We'll do it in order because I've done this quite important. So, yeah, we sort of are getting to it because next up we have the deep penetration questions. I'm not really exaggerating too much here. This is at least deep connection questions, which is the prelude to deep connection. Okay, so girls like to make things fun. Okay, so Tess, you're walking down the street one day and you see this pram just run out in front of traffic, and the traffic's going pretty fast, and you drop all your groceries or drop everything you've got. You run out, you dive, and you push the pram out the way. You fall over, you scuff your knee, then you walk over, and then this tall, handsome man picks you up. He runs from his 12 bodyguards and he looks you in the eye, and it turns out it's Elon Musk, and you've saved his kid called XW25P, one he had with Grimes, and you've saved this kid's life. And he says, "What's your name? What's your bank account? You've just made $500 million, Missy, for saving my kid. And yeah, if I break up with the AI scientist, give me your number just in case." So yeah, the question is, what would you do if you won $100 million? What would you do with the rest of your life? Ask girls this on dates. Some girls are so boring they can't even answer. They go, "I'd just buy more Manolo Blahnik shoes," or whatever they're called. But yeah, it's a great question to really get to know a girl, to really get her thinking. Deep penetration question. Some of you guys will be laughing at me at this time. The amount of sex my clients have got asking out of really good, what I call big motherfucker open-ended questions. Some other ones are, Tess, tell me, who's been the biggest influence on your life? Or if it's potentially a work situation, you could say, so tell me, Tess, who's been the biggest influence on you professionally? Or tell me, Tess, who's been the biggest influence on you personally? So yeah, Tess, I don't know, just slap me in the face if you want to answer this. So Tess, who's been the single biggest influence on your life, on you personally?
I don't know. I don't have one actually role model that has really changed my life. I think, yeah, I don't really. yeah, I don't have one person. I've kind of just been on my own solo journey.
Okay. Did you see anyone watching the replay? Did you see when I asked the question? Everyone might want to get a bath bag because I'm going to try to impersonate beautiful women. I think for anyone who doesn't know what a bath bag is, that's a bag that you vomit in on planes. Tess went, she did a like supermodel cover face shot. She looked up and she looked down. She gave us this crazy smile. Her cheeks blushed. Her eyes lit up. Answer the question, jerk. That's a line from one John McEnroe. It doesn't need to be the number one, but just tell me someone who's been a huge influence on your life.
I'm not sure. I guess like I'm kind of into Chinese philosophy through some of my studies. So the Dao De Jing by Lao Tzu. This is really geeky, but Lao Tzu, he's like a ancient philosopher. He's kind of like a Stoic philosopher, Chinese philosopher. Yeah.
So tell me how this Stoic Chinese philosopher, who I know of but I can't pronounce, tell me the impact he had on your life.
I just can relate to a lot of what he talks about. A lot of what he talks about it's just about living in accordance with nature. It's a lot of Taoism stuff. Just yin and yang, just balance, all sorts of stuff that it just really resonates with me. So I think I try to apply all those things to my health, but also just my normal day-to-day life, and it helps me process a lot of things in my life as well.
Cool. Take one of the examples you gave and just explain to me how you apply it and how it's made your life better.
Okay, well, I mean, this is really, the concept of yin and yang, I think it's, I like that it's about duality, but they're also interconnected. So, when you're looking at anything, any sort of comparison to, in duality, it's one can't exist without the other. So you can't have happy without sad, because happy is only in comparison to sad, right? So I think it also describes all of this gray area between two things, and it also shows you that nothing is ultimate. Like I think that so I think when people have different opinions about different things, it's nice to kind of take on other people's point of view and understand where that's come from and what's shaped that, and that it's not finite. Things are always changing, and that view is only in comparison to something else. So I guess it's kind of a philosophical way of looking at things.
Wow, that's fascinating. In a real world, I would go much deeper into this. But what I'd also be doing, this is the bonus information concept. This is so powerful. I'd swing back to, you said initially that you hadn't really had a big influence or mentor. It had been much of a solo journey for you. That's fascinating. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I guess, I don't really look up to celebrities or famous people at all. Like, I just think they're normal people. So I think I like to learn through experience. I don't just strive to be like someone else. So I like to kind of push the limits of my own experience and just get my own perspective on things. So I'm not really I don't idolize people.
Okay, tell me more about that, because you hinted there'd be no one in your own life or no celebrities. It was like you're sort of you'd done it yourself. Just talk more about what you meant by that.
Okay, so when you first asked me that question, what first came to mind was like, I should probably say my mum or something. But I guess for me, yeah, from a very young age, I didn't have very strong role models, let's say, growing up. So yeah, I think I kind of got thrown in the deep end, and yeah, I had to figure a lot of stuff out on my own, both emotionally and just practically in life. So so yeah, I kind of just, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone laughs at me and says this guy can't get the results he claims. This is the shit I do. Watch the replay. Look at some of the sexy faces Tess made. She was constantly going like that. She was constantly looking up and putting all these model faces on. It's just ask a hot girl really fucking good questions. Listen, think. I've got no trouble attracting attractive, intelligent men to my courses. Use the brain that made you an engineer or a doctor or whatever the hell you do. And then use that brain to think about questions. And I mean, girls just fall on your dick pretty much if you can touch them on the shoulder and have a date plan. I'm really not kidding. So yeah, deep penetration. Like if this was a date with Tess, once you get to this vibe where you're actually really discovering the hot girl as a person, there's 99% of the guys, your competition is just gone. So hopefully that was a valuable demonstration. I was just watching to see if people were switching off or coming on. But yeah, that's basically what I do on dates. When you throw date plan in and a lot of touch and escalation, but so much of it is just, can you really connect with the girl and find out what's special about her? So like another good question. So I'll just run through them again. Who's been the biggest influence on you professionally, personally? What would you do if you won 100 million tomorrow and you didn't need to work? You can put a silly story about Elon Musk in front of it as well. And what advice would you have given to your 20-year-old self? Let's quickly ask Tess that. What advice would you have given to your 20-year-old self, Tess?
Probably to focus a little bit more on my finances. I was traveling and partying and living very frivolously at that age. So yeah, I think if I'd done a bit of hard work early, it would have paid off now. But I mean, I don't have any regrets. So yeah, maybe just take things a little bit more seriously.
But you're a hot girl. You'll always be fine. And you do yoga as well. So you'll probably make it through to 40 without any financial stresses. There's always going to be like 100 million guys who'll bow you out no matter how bad it gets. Even if you go toxic, there'll still be a whole bunch of guys who'll bow you out. Oh, the joys of being a hot girl until they go to the wrong surgeon or go one procedure too much, which I don't think is Tess's cup of tea, thank God. Okay, so they're deep penetration questions. Seriously, if you watch the YouTube videos, you think, what's this big nose, old stupid Aussie fuck crapping on about? This is just boring and nonsensical. If you're seducing a really beautiful girl, it is boring. It's boring to everyone else because you're just discovering her as a human being. Now, yes, there is the Dan Blitzerian method of picking up girls where you just have massive social proof, including from other hot girls. That's great too. But that's a bit harder for the average man to engineer, and it's not going to get you the mother of your children as easily. But even if you do that one, and I do the engineering social proof all the time, that's something I'm huge on, but it's still the deep connection with the girl you want, which is where all the great results are. Okay, let's get back to the questions and we'll get on to some more points there. This is really valuable. That demonstration, it's going to seem really boring, but just watch it in double speed in the replay and just watch Tess's face, watch the way she reacts. It would have been, ideally, I'd have gone on for half an hour and showed you where that could end up. But yeah, you're just getting to really know someone at a very deep level. And again, all you guys want to get hot girls. That's the biggest thing of all. Just let them feel like you actually know them as a person. I think I've shared before, I've literally had Jackie, who's on my YouTube channel, and Nevena, Aussie swimsuit model with 100,000 on Insta, who's done all these major swimsuit campaigns, and Jackie's done a bunch of lingerie stuff. She was bras and things model, Jackie. So yeah, these girls cried on my boot camp in front of 24, 25 people, 6 or 7 other trainers and 18, 20 students. Anyway, let's get on. So yeah, let's get the questions and we'll get to point number 4.
Okay. There's a question here from Anthony. Welcome. What's the number one creepy mistake guys like me make with younger women? Sorry. Number one mistake. We've talked about this in the past. I think, coming up to her and the first thing you say is, "Oh, you're really cute," or "Oh, I saw you from across the room. I just wanted to come and say hi." That's creepy, because she feels like preyed upon a little bit. Like you've been checking her out, and she's that makes a woman feel uncomfortable. Pointing out her appearance is the first thing you say to her. Yeah, I would say that's a really big one. So many guys do that.
I agree 100% with Tess, but I'd actually make the point bigger. Tess has talked about how it's like your beautiful thing from the start. What happens is guys fall into the pattern of, I've got money, I'm older, I've got life experience, I've got these cool friends, I've got this car or this house or this boat. You've got youth and beauty. Let's essentially get into a transaction. Now that can work, and there's plenty of girls ready to do that transaction. But you'll probably find they're not the girls you want to be in a relationship with. And to coin the red pill term, a lot of these girls have been savagely run through. And even for the guys who do have the boats and the cars and the jets, a lot of those girls are photographed on the jets or on the boats or on the cars, but they're not actually sleeping with a rich guy. They're sleeping with a yoga teacher or their personal trainer, which a lot of the red pill guys just can't seem to get through their heads. They think these rich guys are getting all the women, and some of them are, but many of them are not. Otherwise, why does social coach exist when guys pay me $100,000 and fly from the States? So often the rich guys are just getting exploited, and they're sleeping with the yoga teacher or some guy who plays 80s cover bands or something. So try to get any sort of interactions with beautiful women away from some sort of an exchange of status or money for youth and beauty. That's the number one mistake so many guys make. And that's the number one thing I try to avoid like the plague. And that's one of the biggest things that's given me whatever success I have. And same with my students, because, I'm telling guys with fully loaded white Range Rovers that they basically drove out the showroom to go in their Toyota Hilux, and guys with brand new F-Type Jaguars to take their son's Camry. And it's getting them much more sex and much better women than they ever had before. I've even had clients, go in on an inner city apartment with their rich friends, so they don't need to take them to this 8-bedroom or 12-bedroom compound or mansion somewhere. And the girl is just like, I'm going to make you wait 8 dates. You're rich, if it's any sort of a decent girl. We might do another question, Tess. Good question, Anthony.
No worries. Cool. Stevie, should I date women closer to my age, or is pursuing significantly younger women worth it long term?
I might take that because I'm an expert at it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of young women, particularly today, where there's a series of Taylor Swifts and what's her name, Christine Aguilera and Lady Gaga, studying out with Madonna and probably a couple more, Britney Spears. They've basically made them, and then plus Instagram and TikTok, they've made them these brainless morons, like much more so when we were kids. So that is a large percentage of the female population. There is zero doubt about that. But there are still some incredible younger women. I mean, Tess, she was talking about Chinese philosophy, and that was the number one influence on her life. There's a lot of women like that. You just got to know where to find them. So if you can find women who are more enlightened, not just doing shots and coke and trying to fillet some celebrity or some athlete, which many of them are, some DJ, if you can actually find those girls, then I personally think the most happiness moments of my life have been with a woman, dramatically younger than me by society's metrics of what you should do, traveling somewhere or discovering her or getting to know her, particularly in her home city. So yeah, it's been the greatest thing of my life. And so much of the man I am today, like most of the man I am today, comes from, one girl leading me to literature, one girl leading me to yoga, one or two girls really taking my travel to a completely different level. One girl making me think I was the stupidest guy in the world and changing stuff. So I would date women close to your own age. If you can find the younger women, I would recommend dating it, and it keeps you young apart from anything else. I think it's just wonderful. We might just move on to the next point before we get into questions. Banners. I need to click example banners. Okay, make her your girlfriend questions. Thanks for all the questions, guys. There's some absolutely fantastic ones. Okay, these are questions I use in dating and have had tremendous success with, and I teach to my clients. So you don't do this as an opener or even when you meet her. You do it like on a first date or a second date. So Tess, tell me, I want you to answer this. Don't take too long, but tell me, what's the number one most important thing in a relationship for you?
I think trust.
Talk more about trust.
I just think if trust isn't there, then it's really hard to build anything else on top of that. Like, you can have fun, but yeah, in terms of like a serious long-term relationship, trust is really important. And when it's there, it's easy to let other things flourish.
Good answer. Can I just define trust for the fellas watching? Does trust mean I can't ever cheat on you, or does it mean if I do cheat on you and you ask me about it, I've got to be honest?
I think it's about being honest.
Good. Yeah, we've got the same answer then. So I'm not saying I should cheat on anyone, even though I probably have half of it.
But potentially if you have plans on doing something like that, you just talk about it beforehand.
Sometimes it just happens. I mean, I didn't expect that girl to be at the bookstore beside me when I was innocently browsing for something to read at night.
Honesty is the most important thing.
Well, yeah, the fact that Tess and I connect on that is huge. And that's, it's not just to try to encourage them to get into your pants. It's also to filter through the girls you would actually take seriously. Because if I say honesty and the girl starts debating, no, that's not important. I'm like, what the hell? Have you ever had a relationship? Have you ever cared about someone? And yeah, if women know they can trust you, the shit you can get away with. Because they know he's always going to be honest with me, so they let you get away with X, Y, and Z. Whereas when they don't know where they stand, that's when they get nasty, and that's when you don't get as much of a long lead. When you start asking relationship questions like this, women start thinking of you in relationship terms. One thing, if I was in Sydney and I met and dated Tess, say it was the first date, I think, oh, well, this isn't just tonight. This could be girlfriend material. Or if you want to be misleading and deceptive, and you want to mislead a girl who you just want to bang into thinking you want to be a girlfriend, which might get you more time in hell, or a Me Too charge in today's world. You can ask this manipulatively, which I would not do. The pickup artist would. So Tess, describe your perfect summer weekend in Sydney for me.
Beautiful weather, a lot of time outdoors, definitely surfing, amazing surf with no one else in the water, potentially some wining and dining, maybe a helicopter ride. I don't know, I'm getting imaginative here. What else have I wanted to do? I don't know. Some time at the beach. Yeah.
Look how fucking happy she is. Can you see how good this content is? Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that shit you meant to do. Can you see how powerful these questions are? And the others are telling you, should go, you're a bad girl, aren't you? You're a bad girl when you were young. Oh, I'm feeling this goth vibe from you. Yeah, just get to know the woman, and so much of this stuff becomes dramatically easier. Another one I've done, describe your perfect boyfriend or describe your perfect relationship. Tess, describe your perfect boyfriend.
Someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously, likes similar things that I do, you know, likes to be outdoors, likes to be in nature, someone who I can connect with intellectually, and someone who inspires me, and great sex, of course.
Tell me more about your favorite one of those.
I can't remember everything I said. I think I started with someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously. I think because I get stressed easily when I'm busy and I've got a lot on my plate. So I think having someone to kind of balance that I really like that in a relationship. Yeah.
That's such a common answer with hot girls, by the way. That's such a common answer. Again, for those of you watching live, but yeah, those watching the replay, just rewind and look at her face there. So often she was doing like cover girl shots where she's like, I'm terrible at this, the world's most disgustingly horrible drag queen. And she's doing the head tilt and she's looking up and her face lights up and sometimes she tilts and exposes a bit of her neck. She's doing all these sort of like flirty body language signals because she's gone into this really exciting place and she starts to experience these feelings through you. So yeah, these questions are insanely powerful. We'll give you many more if you work with Tess on Zoom and that sort of stuff. But yeah, just a handful of good, like when I got that model bonking question, that if you get that really good video we did, it's the unedited version of a speech I did that got 1.8 million views with a bunch more stuff put in there. But if anyone who puts in their email for that, I'll send you my #1 model bonking question. That is unreal. It completely changed my life. It allowed me to go so deep with these women who, I mean, they probably needed their eyes checked while they were even with me. They're insane. Some of them out with some of the world's biggest celebrities in the months leading up to meeting me. But yeah, just because I connected with them much more powerfully than all the other fellas, it worked out really well. Tess, do you want to any questions on okay? Any questions on how to pick up waitresses, service workers, yoga teachers, retail workers, anyone who's in a service job? If you go into a stockbroking firm or a corporate law firm, they tend to hire models. Even better, art dealers. Tess, you've disappeared on me. Or did I get rid of you? Oh, sorry. Anyway, that's fine.
I'm back.
We can't hear you.
Sorry, I'm all good.
No, that's okay. I just thought I screwed something up. So the questions are pick up waitresses, etc. Can't fail, genius question, which is tell me. Deep penetration question, which is really get to know her at a deep level. And make her your girlfriend questions. So if anyone's got any questions about that, send them on through. Tess, do you want to do the next one of the questions we haven't covered? No, actually, before we do that, I will tell you, if you are enjoying the questions we're giving you guys, I would strongly, where's it gone? I would strongly recommend that you book a date with this lovely creature here, Tess. That's what your tomorrow can look like. And you will spend 45 minutes tomorrow practicing your approaching and practicing your dating skills on Tess, exactly like you would in the real world, except it's done on Zoom. And yeah, the goal is you do the dates, the goal is to identify exactly what mistakes you've been making that have been holding you back your whole life and will continue to hold you back until you get rid of them. You will, just by doing this one session, if you just do a half-assed job of remembering and applying a few things, you'll beat 95% of guys approaching and dating immediately. Guys who are taller, younger, hotter, richer than you, you'll demolish them. Not all of them, but many of them. Relatively average guy, you'll master conversation skills. You should never run out of things to say. I don't think decades since I ran out of things to say on a date. Like it just hasn't happened. And so many of my students say that just because we've got systems and we teach you how to apply them. And then probably the most valuable thing is you get a custom dating plan. It's probably going to be about 6, 8, maybe 10 points, the stuff you really need to be aware of and work on. And then most importantly, a top 3 action steps. You got to fix this, number 1, then you fix that, then you fix that. And this, I mean, yeah, we charge $1,500 for this. This really will change your life. You do a half-assed job of implementing it, and you'll walk away knowing how to beat pretty much every guy you think you're competing against and get hot dates every single week if you've got a tiny bit of free time. Like, I mean, even a tiny bit. Literally, we charge $1,500 on the website for this. So, yeah, this could be you. I think it's tomorrow and Tuesday. I haven't checked the latest times, but they'll be in the link if you could chuck them in. Yeah, if anyone is very quick, we had to pull out from our boot camp. I should check that. Maybe we don't. We may have filled it, but there may be a spot for the upcoming boot camp. If anyone wants to change their life in 2 weeks. And yeah, we usually charge $1,495. If you book in the next 2 days, it'll cost you $29. So all that happens is you give us your email, as you book in a time, and then you get to go on a date with Tess. For those of you watching the replay, this will be down below. So we've had some great clients, especially from the US, we picked up in the last few weeks. Really enjoying working with you guys. So yeah, we can help people from all around the world. As long as you're not super duper weird. So yeah, that's the date with Tess. What am I doing wrong? Okay. So Tess, do you want to get into some more of the questions, please?
Yeah, we have a lot coming through. Let's see what we're up to. Here we go. Anthony is asking, that's great, Tess, by the way. I just came back from the mall today. Any non-weird way to approach younger women in real life? Yes, absolutely. There are non-weird ways. Yeah, I think as I mentioned earlier, commenting on her appearance is the first thing to do. Don't do that. We've actually got the greatest way to start conversation with a woman coming up. So I won't spoil the surprise. Stick around. We'll get to this question. Let's have a look.
Yeah, Anthony, just remind us if you could. We'll tailor it for a mall. Because yeah, it can work everywhere.
Okay. Hang on a second.
We're going to have the world's greatest opener coming up very soon.
Oh, sorry, this isn't a question. This is an example. Tell me what's going to be the most interesting that will happen to you this weekend. Cool. That's a good example. Adam, I think you might have seen some of our content before. James, it looks like the link, the top 10 mistakes link isn't working.
Oh, thank you very much. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, Anthony was telling us. So
I
did click on it. It doesn't look like it's working. So we'll get on top of that. Okay, here's a good question from history. What is your opinion on wide rapport versus deep rapport in the first 20 minutes and 60 minutes? Okay, I think my opinion is deep rapport all the way. 20 minutes, 60 minutes, absolutely. I mean, obviously, depending on how open the woman is, that might depend on the context, the setting. It might take, you might have to start a little bit shallow and build, a little bit of wide rapport, or really just get her warmed up. But I think going deep straight away is definitely, it's a lot more preferable than going wide. If you're getting a lot of surface level information and connecting on, lots of superficial things, you're getting a very broad picture, but you're not actually making the impact, making it special, making it super memorable. If you're able to go deep and form deep, authentic connection, that's someone who she's going to go away and she's going to be thinking about, right? She's going to think, wow, I haven't had that conversation with someone before, or that person really wanted to get to know me on a deeper level, more on a subconscious level, she's thinking this. Or wow, we've got such a connection. This guy could be my soulmate. These sorts of things. That only happens when you go deep. So deep rapport, I would say.
There's been some great questions, but history jerk or whatever it is, that's the question of the night so far. Thank you very much. Yeah, women are always going to be go deep people. They're always going to be go deep people. You're not allowed to say that men and women are different, but they're completely and utterly different. Everyone knows that. It's obvious. You go listen to two girlfriends chat when they're having a walk or when they're having a cup of coffee. They never shut up. They never shut up. And what they're doing is going very, very deep into the feelings and emotions of relationships, which is most often the guy they're banging or you want to bang, or the guy's not banging him enough. They wish he was banging him more. So they're just going very, very deep on certain topics, mainly relationships. When they're talking to men, like Tess can go really deep in the feelings and emotions of surfing or paragliding, or she may go very deep, as we found out today, on Chinese philosophy. So yeah, you want to go very, very deep, but this is where it's very interesting. In the first 20 minutes, you've got to go deep on something just in order to get the 20 minutes with the hot girl. But you might want a little tiny bit of width in order to find the thing to go deep on. But small amount of width to find the best thing to go deep on. So basically, my method is designed to get you the hottest girls you possibly can. And the highest quality girls. So if you're like a hot, confident guy and you want to put 100 girls or 500 girls on a spreadsheet and say you've had sex with them, then you probably want to use social proof and just go approaching average-looking girls or single mothers or something, or party girls or something, because that's the quickest way to get numbers like that, or just whoever's the most desperate woman on Tinder, late 30s, early 40s, because it's a lot easier to get mass sex like that. But if you want to get really high quality women, you want to get deep rapport with them, because that's the only way to separate you from the rest of the guys. Some of you might have, I've dated a number of models. I've also lived in Lower East Side of Manhattan and studied acting in Soho. So I've known a lot of models, and I've known a lot of models where they hang out. It's like when you're a kind of young model, you can sleep with anyone you want, like anyone, just anyone. Just any guy's going to bang you. And money means nothing. I mean, in places like Manhattan and LA, and really any girl is a proper model, fame doesn't really mean that much. It's just, they're all irrelevant. It's just how much of a connection do we have? That's the real metric you've got to work on, because that's the way you can separate yourself from every other guy. Oh, and as Tess said, if you can be better in bed than the other guys, and when you look her deep in the eyes, you're going to be better in bed than all the other guys she's had. That's a pretty important metric too, because she knows as well in many cases, this guy's different from the others. I'll forgive the big nose and the skinny arms and the weird hunchback and sunken chest and grey beard. Okie dokie, I'll do one more question.
Okay, a question from Luke. Welcome, Luke. Nice to see you. James, how best to deal with foreign women who are new to Australia and suddenly realise the increase in their value compared to local Australian women, Latina and Eastern Europeans in particular?
Oh, the Eastern Europeans are shockers, I tell you. I mean, I've hired models. I'm like, you're not that flashy in your home country, honey. Go back to Moscow, take that attitude, see how you go, or wherever. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't really have a good answer to that. You could just, I mean, if you have, just let on that you've been to. Can you give me more detail about what specifically you're asking? Because yeah, I mean, I might have been the guy who started it worldwide. The Beatles probably did it before me. Back in the USSR, you don't know how lucky you are, boys. But yeah, I was the one, and then a friend of mine went and started doing tours around Europe, Eastern Europe. That was all because of me. Yeah, it is an issue. The other thing is, in Australia, we don't tend to get the better Russian girls in particular. They tend to go to New York or LA or somewhere. We just tend to get the lower level ones who sort of hooked an Australian man and got out of not necessarily good parts of St. Petersburg or Moscow, but often a village. So if you can give me more context around your question, I'd love to ask that. Just at the surface level, you could just say, if you just hint that you've been to their countries and maybe you've dated girls from their countries before, that might keep them a little bit in line. But there's no doubt, I mean, all their Christmases have come at once. If you get some girl who's, you know, a little bit above average in Moscow, and suddenly she's like this stupidly hot society girl dating anyone she wants, it is a bit of an adjustment. So if you just give me any more context on that, I'd love to help you. Can you do one more question, and we'll get back to the next point, please?
Yes. Stevie, how do I balance being confident and successful without coming across as arrogant or controlling? Great. I like this question. Yeah, obviously, I think that being confident and taking the leadership role, etc., is really important and really attractive to women. And I actually recently just watched the Manosphere documentary by Louis Theroux. And that was such a shock to me because these guys had some interesting ideas, which I'm like, I do agree with that, but they were just like at the way extreme level of things. So I'm like, guys, you've crossed the line. You've really crossed the line. So they've definitely gone like arrogant and controlling, and yeah, not good. So how do you balance being confident and successful? Again, I think you know, you've just got to be. You've got to have some flexibility. It can't just be like my way or the highway. And that's really important in every relationship. There has to be a little bit of compromise. So yeah, and also being able to have fun and not just be taking yourself too seriously. There needs to be balance in a lot of aspects. You know, just be a complete person. You don't have to just be one or two things and go hard on that. Like, yeah, just explore some different concepts, be open-minded.
Okay. How do I balance being confident, successful without coming across arrogant or controlling? Controlling is terrible. That's the last thing you want to be, because that looks needy. That's another thing I disagree with profoundly with a lot of the red pill and dating guys. A lot of them date a lot of girls, possibly because they've got money, and they're telling these women, don't you ever cheat on me. As soon as you touch another man, we're done. Do you understand that? I'm just like, have these guys ever done this? It's asinine, because all you're doing is telling the girl your vulnerabilities. I never say anything ever to any girl about who she can or can sleep with, because then she can start telling me the same thing, and it shows you're insecure. And as soon as you show a hot girl insecure, she's like, oh, that's how I get him, is it? So she'll be off flirting with every dude who she thinks she can scare you with. It's completely stupid. I'll pick on Andrew Tate. He's tall, he's next kickboxer, he's rich, he's immensely charismatic, he's funny, he's famous. Dude, he could be broke. He could go bankrupt. Girls would still bang him en masse because of his confidence and because he's funny. Because he doesn't give a shit about what he says. Like, he doesn't. He could be completely penniless. He would still get sex. So I don't know why he keeps talking about how he gets these girls because he's got a jet, or he gets these girls because he's rich. Maybe the girls he's with, he gets them because he's rich, but a guy who's that confident, that funny, that sure of himself, who's also a 6'4" kickboxer, he's never going to have any problem with women with all those metrics. Money is almost irrelevant. Money would get in his way. It's like, oh, he's all these things and he's rich. So I don't understand what he's on there. I mean, a dude who ticks all those boxes, he's just going to get laid all the time anyway. I mean, just 6'4" alone, before we mention charismatic and funny. It could be because he's trying to teach guys how to get laid. And he's saying, oh, the reason I've had this success with women is because I've got all this money. So I'll teach you how to make money, and then you can have the success with women I've had. Whereas I think hopefully he knows he'd get that anyway. Maybe when he's with these Saint-Tropez girls or St. Bart's girls who just have just those girls, maybe they're only interested in him because of his money. But I mean, yeah, when you tick all those boxes, pussy isn't one of your big problems in life. I can assure you of that. Maybe pussy coming after you with Me Too charges or a knife or or a red-soled shoe heel coming at you trying to kill you with it. That might be your problem. But yeah, getting the girls isn't a problem when you do all that. So I don't think you need to worry about coming across as arrogant, because, I mean, girls I've dated say they probably wouldn't date a guy they didn't think was arrogant. So, I mean, they might interpret arrogant as just extreme confidence. What does Grok AI say? Arrogance is a noun that refers to an offensive or unpleasant attitude of superiority. But if it's true, I mean, if Elon Musk or Michael Jordan are arrogant, you'd just be like, well, what do you expect? They're kind of the best at what they do ever. So yeah, I don't know if arrogance is necessarily going to turn you off a lot of the women I'm interested in. Controlling is insanity. The second you become controlling, you're just introducing yourself to a whole bunch of female games. Don't ever do that. I just noticed Anthony say, Andrew Tate's a smart marketer. He is, but I'd really love to know, is he really naive about women, thinking he's going to struggle to get women if he doesn't have any money? Unless that really kills his confidence, it could do. But I suspect he does know that. He's just marketing the thing. If you have money, you'll get girls. What I say, if you have money and you got no skill, you get girls you really don't want. Next question, and we'll get on to the next one.
Yeah.
Also go through the comments as well.
Wayne's asking, how do I deal with insecurity about my age or body when dating someone younger?
I'll cover that straight away. We'd need more context. If you're like obese and you got hairs coming out your nose and, you know, hairs on your back and hairs on your ass with little bits of yesterday's what's it in there, then yeah, you probably want to be, sorry, Tess, you didn't need that time. You probably should be insecure. But if you're a healthy 57-year-old male or even 61-year-old male, I don't think you should be insecure at all. If you're trying to get 18-year-olds, maybe. But yeah, I don't see why you can't go after 28-year-olds or something, in which case a lot of them are quite happy to date you if you're still really confident. And I mean, I think I talked about Laird Hamilton, who's 63 or something. Tess' eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. She's like, that guy's like the hottest guy ever. And he's 60, whatever, 3 or something. Kind of a good surfer. I kind of think all those surfers who just go in competitions and ride small waves and try to get the best score, I kind of think they're pathetic compared to Laird Hamilton. But anyway, enough surfing discussion. So yeah, I mean, if you want to get younger women to actually really like you, obviously supreme confidence will be anything, but you want to put some level of time into your health. As I've said before, health doesn't mean going to gym 3 times a week and having a bunch of protein powder. It means detox, it means yoga, it means fresh air, it means avoiding chemicals, it means cardio. Particularly as you get older, it means, like, if you're healthy, just pushing your heart and lungs and your body to its limits to get your whatever, what they call it, VO2 max. So there's a whole bunch of metrics. Having sex regularly. What's his name? I don't know how good I look under these harsh lights because they're just lights I borrowed. But I've heard quite a few people say I look younger than Andrew Huberman, who's probably the world's leading sort of health expert. Interesting that Andrew Huberman is a Stanford-educated neuroscientist, and he tells you all about cutting-edge health science. I'm older than him, and some people say I look younger than him. I teach you how to sleep with younger girls. Now, that's an interesting comparison, isn't it? Just take that one and have a think about that. So maybe I'm more important than shortening your telomeres or keeping your dry sauna to exactly 9 minutes and then getting your red light therapy for 30 seconds exactly straight after. And yeah, and you know, make sure you get exactly 2 minutes and 12 seconds of sun within 35 seconds of waking to maximize your melatonin. So, you know, I don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, he gets too complicated for me. I think it's simpler than that. So yeah, just be healthy and be confident. That's all you really need. Confidence destroys everything. Oh, we might just cover that one. Albie Mangles, sorry for the American. Some Americans might have seen it. It was this iconic Australian movie that toured. It was this massive independent hit. That might be the movie that turned me into a hardcore traveler because I loved it when I was younger. And yeah, that guy got himself a few pretty hot girls. Tess, do you know who Albie Mangles is?
No.
You should see him. He's an icon if he's still alive. But yeah, he got a lot of PR. Traveling the world, doing some hardcore things with some pretty hot girls. Okay, now we'll get back to points. If you could just keep track of where we are. Make it a different question. Okay, I think this is a request from one of the regulars, the Get Sexual Quick questions. Okie dokie. Let's have a staring competition. Yeah, that's one way I've done it. So yeah, that's a good way to get sexual. Seriously, that works too. But if you want to get sexual with a girl that's way hotter than you, you've got to tap into her feelings and emotions. We might just quickly role play this. So Tess, tell me about your last great holiday.
Yeah, towards the end of last year, I was in Indonesia on a scuba diving trip.
Oh, great. Where did you go in Indonesia?
Around the Komodo Islands.
Great. Where are the Komodo Islands?
Oh my gosh, I've forgotten. Not in Bali. This is really bad. To the east, yeah, one of the other big islands near there. I'm so sorry. My geography is terrible. Someone asked me this like the other day and I couldn't remember and it still hasn't come to me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And what did you in the Komodo Islands?
I did a scuba diving liveaboard. So yeah, stayed on a boat for 3 nights, just went scuba diving like 3 times a day. And as part of that, there was a bit of hiking, saw the Komodo dragons as well.
Oh, cool. How many Komodo dragons did you see?
Maybe like 5.
What other animals did you see?
In the water, like lots of fish.
This is what most guys do. They just ask these boring fucking questions. And the girl's like, I don't know where the Komodo Islands are. I'm a girl. I don't read maps. I don't even pay attention to maps. Haven't you ever heard of Google Maps? They just someone reads it out to you in like French or German or whatever accent you want. You didn't even get Leonardo DiCaprio to read out your map directions. Why do I need to know where it is? I just asked the flight attendant to get me there. So yeah, you got to ask good questions. Let's do that again. Tess, tell me about we did a little banner saying demonstration up, but anyway, we'll do it next time. Tess, tell me about last great holiday you had.
Yeah, I was in Indonesia doing some scuba diving.
Cool. I love scuba diving. I've dived a bunch in Indonesia. Tell me about your diving.
Yeah, I did a liveaboard around the Komodo Islands. 3 nights. I was there with some family. And yeah, it was beautiful.
My God, that's been on my to-do list for a long time. I nearly went this year, but I didn't get there. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, I mean the Komodo Islands are so beautiful. Beautiful, crystal clear blue water. The visibility was amazing, like 30 meters, more even in some of the sites we went to. And yeah, just like beautiful mountainous islands, beaches. The diving was, yeah, it was the best liveaboard I've ever been on. So the diving was amazing. And yeah, also the company I was doing it with, a bunch of family. So that was really special too.
Unreal. Tell me about the diving. What was your favorite part about it?
Seeing manta rays. So yeah, I love manta rays. There's just something majestic about them, the way they move. They're really graceful in the water. Yeah, it was awesome. They came like within probably, I felt like I could touch them. It felt like they were maybe like a meter away at one stage.
Oh my God, I've seen a whole bunch of animals, not manta rays. Tell me what it's like. Take me back to the moment you first saw the manta ray and it got a meter away from you.
Yeah, I mean, I was super excited. It was the second dive that we did on the liveaboard, so I was, still just adjusting to diving. It'd been a while since I'd been in the water, so yeah, I was really nervous though because I didn't want to scare them away. So yeah, we just had to move really, really slowly and breathe really slowly so our bubbles weren't scaring them away, and we basically yeah, just found a little shelf to like lay down on, and we just sat there for like 20 minutes. And they were like coming over the top of us and just like playing with each other, 3 of them. It was really cool.
Wow. Tell me what that was like.
I think diving for me, I just feel so blessed when I dive, because I know that humans aren't really, we can't breathe underwater. It's such a magical experience that to be able to be under there for prolonged periods of time and just see all the beauty under the surface. It's amazing, like the way all sea life moves underwater. It's just really relaxing, I find, and it's so beautiful. Like some of the weird things you see, it's like, I don't know, colorful coral and crabs and fish and like weird alien looking things. It's just cool.
See how happy she is now? I think I did the terrible demonstration intentionally to begin with. She's like a bit battered down, and it took her a while to get into that one. Then once she got into that one, again, if you're watching the replay, just watch her face. I think this is really valuable. You've just got to ask big motherfucker feelings and emotion questions. Listen really well so she knows you're actually connecting with her, and ask good follow-on questions. And this whole get pretty girl things just seems so much easier. So yeah, Tess, talk about your extensive experience coaching guys, and just talk about, they're constantly asking these shitty questions about, oh, I love surfing. How tall is your surfboard? Monique, the redhead who did Fashion Week in the US and did a few summers in Europe, she learned to ride a bike as an adult. And this guy literally asked her, what's the diameter of your front wheel? And she's like, I don't know. So yeah, just talk about what it's like for a girl, particularly a pretty girl, and you just get these inane questions from guys that women have no interest in.
Yeah, so all of that facts and data type stuff, it's just first of all, it's quite narrow. Generally, when you ask, let's say about surfing, how big's your board, or how long have you been surfing, you get one piece of information. You get, my board's like 5'11", or how long have you been surfing? Yeah, I've been surfing 5 years, or something like that. So you're not really getting a lot more to work with to make conversation easier in future. Whereas if you ask an open-ended feelings and emotions question, it's much more likely that she's going to tell a bit of a story, right? So you get bonus information, which makes the conversation a lot easier to continue for you. But also you're tapping into what makes her heart sing. She's, when she's recounting a story, she's reliving that moment, and you can see like in her eyes and the change in her tonality and her hand gestures, etc. She's getting more invested in the conversation, because you're potentially asking her about to begin with, you might be asking her about the highlights or her favorite thing about a certain topic or activity, and she's reliving those experiences when she's talking about them. If you're able to connect with that as well, like empathize and connect with her on an emotional level, it makes her feel like you are one and the same. You know, you view the world the same way, or you have something in common, which makes her feel like she's more inclined to want to pursue an intimate relationship with you, right? So yeah, so that's the difference. A lot of like really analytical guys who work in, you know, so many guys, the guys that we work with, our clients, work in really analytical roles, like, you know, accountants, doctors, IT guys, engineers, etc. And so it's kind of your job to be problem solving all day, and you're in this like robotic mode of facts and data. That's how a lot of guys communicate with each other as well. But it just doesn't work with women, and it doesn't get us invested in the conversation. It doesn't get us to open up to you, and it's really hard to connect around those things. So yeah, it makes your life so much easier when you ask these feelings and emotions questions. Helps expand the conversation, but also helps build real authentic connection with the woman.
Thanks, Tess. Yeah, so yeah, again, this sounds so lame. Ask feelings and emotion questions. Ask feelings and emotion questions. You hear two guys in a cafe or going for a walk, or the way they talk in the gym or whatever. It's just like, oh yeah, I went to Europe, and yeah, I went to Sweden and Norway and Germany and Finland and France and Germany, and I had sex with a girl in France, had sex with a girl in Germany. I couldn't get one in Sweden, which kind of sucked. And yeah, we saw this Alps, and we saw this, and we saw lots of churches, and my favorite was Holland. And it's just a recount of just facts and data information. Whereas women, they just go so deep on things that they'd be like, it's what was your favorite thing about that? What did you love about that? What are your greatest memories? What was special about it? They're just completely different. And if you look at the art, they like soap operas and romantic comedies, which is largely all emotion. And we like whatever thrillers and it's just and whatever superhero movies and this sort of thing. Okay, or James Bond movies or something. So it's just very, very different. We might go back to questions, Tess.
Yeah, let's see where we're at. Sorry. Lots of engagement in the chat today, so I've got to scroll back a little bit for us to get onto all of these guys. Sorry, just 1 second. Okay.
I'll just get this Rangers one. I don't know if this is it.
Thanks.
I remember.
No, I think that's about where we were. Thanks, James.
I did it correctly. Whoa! A guy walk up to a woman and randomly saying, "Hi, you're beautiful," as equivalent to a woman coming up and saying, "You have a nice fat wallet." It doesn't work because it gets things off the wrong foot. I mean, it can work. I'm not saying it will never work, but it's definitely getting things off on the wrong foot. The simple reality is women today are so starved of attention. You could probably go up and just fart and go, "Shit, that was a smelly fart. Sorry about that," and start talking to her that way. And if no guys talk to her for a long time, I mean, that might work. It just, women are so starved for attention. But if you want to get the best ones or get them easy, generally don't start by pointing out their beauty, because that's not a good way to start. So, I found it. Now I've lost it. Where's the next one?
Okay, I've got the next one. Anthony's asking, where can I find a good girl? I don't know. Does that mean a high quality, high value woman? Or what do you mean by good girl?
Or like the Muslim thing where she's a virgin and she's been kept like that and kept in a dark room and never seen any other man or something. If you define good girl more, in terms of a good girl for me, I'm always looking something that's aligned with my hobbies and interests. So for me, it's always going to be something to do with bookstores, bookstore cafes, or travel. And obviously certain parts of the world, I much prefer women to other parts. But if you define what you mean by good girl, I mean, good girl in the modern sense might mean not psychologically screwed up. So that's something you probably also want to consider a lot as well. But yeah, if you just give us more context about good girl, we'll try to look out for it and answer it straight away. Can you do the next one, Tess?
Yep. So question from Rangers. Why should any man be asking a woman to be his girlfriend or in a relationship? It should be the reverse, unless you want to put her on a pedestal. She should be after commitment from him.
100%, 100%. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so obviously this is just about like showing your cards if you're pushing for a relationship, putting her on a pedestal, you're giving her all the power. And this kind of relates to, going up to a girl and saying, hi, I think you're beautiful as the first thing. You're showing all your cards straight away. That does give her power, unless she is immediately really attracted to you or something, and she thinks, oh, okay, yeah, this is exciting. You've put her on a pedestal. You've given her all the power. She's like, okay. Okay, so who are you? I'll figure it out. I'll figure out if you're worth my time. You think I'm beautiful, so does all the other guys. So let's have a look.
I might just cover that. Ranges onto a really good point. I've had some friends of mine, I've even had students that they meet a girl and say, oh, yeah, I really like her. She's amazing. I really want to sort of lock it down and get commitment from her. I'm like, what are you? What are you doing, man? That's not your job. It's crazy. Men want sex. Women want to move in and leave their toothbrush and leave a necklace. And first time they have sex with you, they leave a piece of jewelry just so that they've got an in to come back. One girl left a piece of jewelry at my house, and then I didn't see she'd left it. I've got another girl the next night. There's this big chunk of jewelry sitting on my window, and she's like, what's that? I go, I don't know. And yeah, I couldn't talk my way out of that because she probably smelled the girl from last night anyway. Because we went on for a while, but yeah, because she really liked me, she wanted. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. If you get girls where they want you as a boyfriend, it makes everything so much harder. So you just can't be pushing women for relationships. It's just like, it's a complete break of the law of physics. It's like you're going against the laws of nature. Women push for relationships, men push for sex. Men are supposed to want lots of girls, and then eventually one comes along who twists your arm enough and she's so wonderful that you sort of, you might have me, honey, now. I'm not sure, but you're doing well. You should never be pushing forward for that. That's just crazy. If you are, it's because the girl's probably, you sense that the girl might pull away and you're trying to lock her down by trying to get more commitment. That's the dumbest thing you can do. If you think your girl's pulling away, go sleep with someone else, and don't shower too thoroughly, and she might want you back. Sorry, Tess, it's true though.
Yeah, I think the reason why Rangers might be asking this question, James, is because of the previous point about the relationship question, where you're kind of alluding to where you ask her, oh, what are you looking for in a partner? Exactly. What would it be? Who would be your ideal partner or something? And so I think that's why Rangers is asking this question, just to shed some light on that. I think it's because when you're asking those indirect questions about generally what would you be looking for in a partner, you're not asking her. It's putting that in her mind. It's kind of just putting it out there, but you're not the one who's saying, hey, I want to be your boyfriend. You're just, it's just, there's still some mystery there. So it's not like you're directly saying that to her. James, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, a percentage of the girls I've gone on dates with, I'm not saying I wouldn't have a relationship with you, but it's nice to put that thought into their mind if it is a possibility. And it's also just a piece of information I really want to know about a woman. If she values honesty as number one, then that's a really good, that's like she reads books or something, or whatever, Soviet background, or she does yoga. That's like a huge thing that I want to check the box on. If the girl's got like 12 other things she wants in a relationship and honesty is not in the top 12, I mean, yeah, I might have sex with her. But even at this age now, that would be a huge turnoff if she didn't really value honesty. Because I just don't see how you can have a long-term relationship without fairly extreme levels of honesty. It would just be like you're sort of stuck somewhere you don't want to be. So yeah, that's quite important. But yeah, it's just a question I've asked girls. I think it puts in to their mind the thought of a relationship with me, which is strategically good for me. Some might say it's only a bit Machiavellian, but it also lets me understand the woman a lot better. So that would be my my take on it. Next question.
Okay. Comment from GM23J. Females get wet and horny when you play mind games. I'll tell a 3 or 4. If you were my girlfriend, I'll cheat on you. They love that shit.
What's 3 or 4 again? It's some red pill term for.
Yeah, I don't know what 3 or 4 is either.
GM, can you tell me what a 3 or 4 is? It's not like it's not a car motor, it's a woman. I'm pretty sure it's a car motor too, or maybe that's a 308. I'm not really a proper man. I'm not into all that shit. 3 or 4, is that like a term for a SLUT or something? Yeah, I guess some girls do get a bit wet and horny when you play mind games, particularly when you play them well. I don't know if that's the number one thing that gets them hot and bothered downstairs. I tell a 3 or 4, if you're my girlfriend, I'd cheat on you. They love that shit.
So they're saying HOE. It means HOE, Miami girl, Anthony says.
I mean, if you are a guy who can pull that off and you do it in a very cocky, funny way, I mean, that could work. But I don't think it would work with the sort of women I want.
Yeah. I don't think you want the 3 or 4s, James. That's the thing. So if you're trying to like bait a 3 or 4 by doing this, cool. But I think a normal high quality woman would just yeah. That's not gonna turn them on.
Okay. If you're cheating on a woman, many women get much hotter for you. No doubt about that. Absolutely no doubt about that. 100% true. I've had an advanced female trainer panel at Advanced Boot Camp where 2 female trainers admitted they knew the guy they were with was seeing other girls. And when they thought about it, when they're having sex with him, they got way hotter. And I've had girls say they love the taste of other women on their man's what's it. So that's 100% true. But if you actually throw it into her face like that, I personally think that's not good. If that makes sense. Like if girls find out somehow, I've had a whole string of ex-girlfriends who are bisexual and I mixed and matched them. For a girl who wants a supremely confident man, that's incredible. But if I'm the one who tells them this, it's like you're a wanker. It can still work sometimes, but it's just certain things that if they come from you, go against you. If she finds out some other way, they can really work for you. So in my opinion, if you actually tell her that, I don't know how well that would work. That's my opinion. Anthony says cheating creates attraction. It can do with women up to a certain stage, and also women who are somewhat damaged may love it because it sort of keeps the distance from the man. They don't ever need to commit. But anyway, we're getting a bit deep into this. We might do one more question, then we'll get to the final point, which is probably the most important one of all.
Okay. Anthony's asking, what do you mean by not taking yourself too seriously? I think I talked about this earlier, but it's just about someone who's, can be playful, can have fun. Doesn't, not everything's about career and taking yourself, I don't know, you can be a little bit more open-minded, let's say, as well. That's what I mean by not taking yourself too seriously. Okay.
I think you've got a bit of laugh at yourself. You can have a huge ego, but you can still laugh at yourself. I'm trying to think who's a good example of that. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger is unreal. He's always making fun of himself, and he does it extremely well. That's one of the reasons he's the biggest box office star of all time. Because when he goes on a talk show, he gets crazy ratings. He's always laughing at himself and his stupid accent and his silly roles and his kind of limited acting range and all this sort of thing. So yeah, you can be like Shaquille O'Neal is an incredible idea. I mean, he's one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but he's always making jokes. He never takes himself seriously. He's always screwing around. Trying to think of other. I'm not very good. I mean, George Clooney to some extent, but I just find him a bit whatever. It's not my cup of tea, that guy. But he's good at sort of making fun of himself. Like Tom Cruise. He takes himself so freaking seriously, it makes you want to vomit. Incredibly impressive guy. He's not very talented. He's not very good looking. He's not that good an actor. He's not really good at anything apart from doing his own stunts as a major superstar. But he's been essentially a box office draw since the early 80s to now, which is incredible. It's an incredible accomplishment. But why? There's nothing good about him. But when you see him in interviews, you just kind of want to vomit because he's so full of himself. He's not exactly running through girls like Leonardo DiCaprio or certain other actors. He needs the Scientologist to go get him girlfriends. He can't even get his own by the sounds of it, despite his fame. So, we might do the last point, which in terms of beginners is probably the best of all. The world's greatest opening line of all time, invented by me, after 20 years of coaching. So name. 1, tell me about. 2, the most interesting, the most fun, what you're most looking forward to, what you most enjoyed, the coolest, the most exciting, some sort of adjective. Thing you've got planned for this period of time. So it's like a copywriting formula. If any of you anyone understands copywriting, it's how to get people to open your emails. It's how to get people to click on your headline and take some action. It's how to get hot girls to talk to you. So that is your line that can work in virtually any conceivable situation. Even in many day game situations, I've just made eye contact with a girl and gone, "Hey, how's your day going?" And they're like, "No, that's bad." And they're just sort of like, well, "What does this guy want? This is a bit awkward. He's just come up to me in the street. It's not really appropriate to talk to me." And they'll be like, so how's your day going? Or how's your week going? They go, "Good." And I go, "Oh, cool. So what's been the highlight of the week for you? Or what are you most looking forward to on the weekend?" Or just something like that. And so often I've managed to nail a conversation like that without asking for her opinion on something or asking directions or coming up with some forced thing like, "You're really stylish," or getting this goth vibe from you. So that works in all situations. We need to do a little, anyone who gives me the email for my ultimate model bonking question will also come up with a quick little report where we explain the world's greatest opener. But it's just a combination of in many situations, you'd introduce yourself by name, but even during the day, it'd just be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Or like, "Can you tell me where the nearest coffee is?" Or, "Can you tell me how to get to this place?" Or, "Can you tell me how to get healthy food?" I'm always, if I'm in a new city, or even if I'm in Sydney, I'm asking girls, "Hey, do you know where to get healthy food around here?" I'm asking hot girls. And if they're like, "Why are you asking me for?" I go, "You look pretty healthy." And they're like, "Okay, well, thanks." And they'll give me directions. And hot girls, people through over the age of 22, they'll tend to have a pretty good read on where the good food is. Otherwise, they wouldn't be hot if they're eating the standard American Australian diet. So yeah, I call it a Trojan horse question. I mean, thousands of students, let's say the average student does 200 approaches using this, probably more because some guys will do 1,000. I mean, we're talking millions of women approached, plus the millions of times people have copied my methods. I often hear people using my methods in front of me. Some guys walk up and go, "Hey, you're a legend, man." I'm like, "You've never done my boot camp. I've never published it. How do you know this stuff?" So yeah, the world's greatest opener is, "Hey, how you doing?" Get an intro. Tell me about the best thing, the most interesting thing, the most fun thing you've got planned for a specific period of time. So there's some specificity around it. And yeah, girls just talk so easily. Tess, your basically career is to teach guys how to use this formula and a bunch of other stuff on top of it. Why don't you give the beautiful female perspective on how powerful this is, how not weird it is, how it gets onto hobbies and interests, and how it's potentially the best way to start a conversation where you don't have something really solid that exists in all of humanity. Go.
Yeah, exactly. So so we call this the Trojan horse question because what it really is you're asking what's one of your biggest hobbies and interests potentially, but in a really conversational, casual way. So when you're asking what's the most exciting thing or the best thing that you're looking forward to or that you've done within a certain time frame, you're potentially going to elicit something she loves or potentially one of her biggest hobbies and interests. That's going to be something of really high value that's going to be easy for her to open up around. So easy to build that initial rapport with very quickly around that topic. So if you're just engaging with whatever that is, it's going to be so much easier for you. Again, it's relatable and it's casual. She's not going to be questioning you, thinking that's a pickup line when it's that casual, especially when you make it relatable. So just say it's a Friday and you're asking about what she's most looking forward to over the weekend. It makes sense, right? Everyone's looking forward to the weekend. It's Friday. Same with if it was a Monday and you talk about the previous weekend, or let's say you just frame the context a little bit more and talk about, oh my God, it's almost the end of summer. Can't believe how quick it went. What was the highlight of your summer? Same thing. It's like you're just pointing out something that's really relatable, asking the question to elicit, potentially one of her hobbies and interests. So this formula is really flexible. You can make it relatable for whatever that context is. And yeah, you're eliciting something of high value straight away. You don't get stuck in all of that boring chit chat stuff where it's just awkward and weird and she's like, oh my God, who's this weird guy? She's immediately invested because she's talking about something she loves, and women love talking about what they love. And and it becomes easy for you. So it's perfect. It's great.
Fantastic. So yeah, Tess, do you want to get back to questions? If you just handle some of the next questions, I just realized a little tech error I got to sort out.
It's okay. Yes. Let's see where we're up to. Okay. So hopefully we can get through all of these, guys. All of your questions and comments tonight, guys, because there've been a lot. 1 second. Okay. Great Q&As to get Tess really engaged. How about building chemistry into the conversation, please? Okay, building chemistry into the conversation is not necessarily verbal. That's a lot to do with touch, eye contact, body language. So all the non-verbal communication is where I think building chemistry is. Obviously, when you're talking about topics which are relationship or sex-based, even in a hypothetical way, that can kind of like bring a bit of a sexual chemistry, I guess. A bit of sexual tension that way. But for the most part, it is non-verbal. So, eye contact, using pauses, touch, all of that is really, really important.
What was the question?
How do you build chemistry into the conversation?
So much of the questions we gave you tonight will really, really help. That's a good point. We might do a quick review of everything now. How do you do that? Great Q&A to get Tess really engaged. How about building? How about building chemistry into conversation, please? How to pick up questions, service workers, yoga teachers. So you meet a girl at a bar who's a barmaid, or a cafe who's a waitress, or a restaurant who's a waitress. So Tess, tell me your favorite thing to do when you're not serving people food at the Fish House Manly, or one that I used and got sex out of a few times, a really attractive girl. Tell me your favorite thing to do when you're selling Ray-Ban sunglasses at Sunglass Hut, Maya City. You almost make a fun thing of it. The number of times I've been in bars and I meet some hot girl and I don't want to talk this bar nonsense. So tell me your favorite thing to do when you're not having after work drinks at the Opera Bar in Sydney. That's a really good way. The genius can't fail question is just to ask, tell me. It's not only gets you out of running out of things to say, it goes deeper. So if Tess is talking about surfing, I just say, tell me more about surfing. If she's talking about Chinese philosophy, tell me more about Chinese philosophy. If she's talking more about plumbing supplies, tell me more about plumbing supplies. Whatever the hell, you're going deeper on whatever subject she's talking about, and also means if you do get caught not listening or you're interrupted somehow, you manage to get out of that. The deep penetration questions, I had some examples here. I'll just go through them. Who's been the biggest influence on your life? And we role played a bit of Tess's, and we actually got quite deep. I didn't go too deep because you didn't use up too much of your time. We discovered that she had the number one influence on her life had been Chinese philosophy. What was the guy's name again?
Lao Tzu.
Lao Tzu.
Yeah.
Lao Tzu. Yeah, everyone's heard of him. Lao Tzu. So Tess's biggest influence in life has been Lao Tzu. Most hot girls say their mum. So if Tess actually said the name of some Chinese philosopher, I get kind of impressed by that. Let me see. We should be on the banners. Where's the banners gone? Because we're going through the deep penetration questions. Next one is make her your girlfriend questions. One of my favorites is, what's the most important thing in a relationship to you? And Tess did really well on that. She said honesty, which is my number one by far. Nothing's even close. Because even if the girl's a bit nuts, if she's honest about it, there's hope. It's like if a society's got freedom of speech, there's hope. If freedom of speech is gone, there's really no hope. Whereas if a girl's honest with you in whatever relationship you're in, you've got some hope. But once that goes, give up. And the next ones were get sexual questions. And Tess talked in detail about how these guys, particularly some very sexy guys that most women might like, they just talk so much about stuff that women aren't interested in, like how tall is their surfboard, or which exact places they went to on their last holiday, rather than what was the most fun thing, what was the highlight of it. And finally, for guys who want to actually talk to girls in any situation and get a conversation off quickly and not have to figure out stuff to say, it's like you just walk up to her, start with anything, a direction. I often just walk up and go, hey, how you doing? With lots of energy. Steve Irwin, another Australian, he's the best role model in terms of how to just walk up to strangers and start talking to them. Because he walks up to ferocious crocodiles and starts talking to them, and poisonous snakes. According to him, he was on safari with wild lions, and they had kids with them as well, little lion cubs, and he just crawls over and starts hanging out with the lions, which is complete and utter suicide. It's suicide for any human being to do it, but he's Steve Irwin. He got away with it. So yeah, ferocious lions, ferocious dogs, and beautiful women have quite a bit in common, and that is when you approach them, you need to be totally relaxed and comfortable around them, and then they're not so ferocious anymore. So yeah, if you can do the Steve Irwin energy with my conversational method, that's a very, very powerful combination. So that was it. That's how we went through it. What was the question of that guy? So like from Star Wars.
How about building chemistry into the conversation?
Lots of what I call big motherfucker open-ended questions, deep and meaningful questions. What did you love about that? Tell me your favorite thing about that. What was so special about that to you? Just those sorts of things. On whatever subject she's talking about, just go really, really deep. That's where chemistry comes from with women. The fact that you really connect on certain things and bond. Tess, do you want to add anything to that? That's actually an excellent question now I think of it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you hit the nail on the head there, James, with conversation techniques. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot to do with like building sexual chemistry can also be a lot to do with nonverbal communication, like I mentioned before.
Yeah, touch, eye contact, body language, body positioning, having a date plan and escalating. Sorry, Tess, I cut you off there.
No, that's okay. I did mention that before, James. You were distracted, so you weren't listening to me talk about that stuff.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
Okay, question from Wayne. If you go too deep too fast, don't you come across as too keen, which turns the girl off? No, I wouldn't say that going deep doesn't make you seem needy or too keen. It means you're interested in engaging on a deeper level. It doesn't make you necessarily come across as too keen. I think, yeah, because it shows, if anything, that you just think on a deeper level. You're not here for the superficial stuff. So that's really attractive to women. You know, when you're actually asking her meaningful questions about what's behind the way she perceives something, or what form, you're eliciting childhood memories or her deeper values, her inner thoughts, etc. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're super keen. It just means that you're interested in those sorts of things. So no, I don't think that going deep necessarily makes you come across as too keen. James, do you want to answer?
I agree with Tess, but one thing you got to point out: if you're just going deep and you're not doing the touch, eye contact, body language, blah 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 blah, you can start getting into the girlfriend category. So you do definitely go deep, but you've got to be escalating at the same point, which isn't that much of a threat for our clients because we coach them holistically. But you guys who are taking a tip or two off YouTube Live, if you do all the question stuff, but you don't necessarily do the escalation stuff and the date planning stuff, then Wayne's right. You can come across as too keen, a bit of a girlfriend, a bit of a beta male. So as long as it's like you've got to. I'm not very good at this. You've got to. Just get rid of. Sorry. You've got to. Oh, it's going backwards. You've got to escalate the conversation, but then you've got to escalate the seduction at a similar rate. So they should be a graph that sort of moves in the same sort of angle. So you don't want to do no conversation escalating. Do lots of conversation escalating, but no sort of physical escalating. Otherwise, you're sort of a nice guy. Equally, you don't want to just escalate sexually and have no connection. Otherwise, you're just this player dude, which is much better than being a nice guy, but it's not going to get you the best girls. It might get you in a wee bit of trouble in the Me Too era. That's a really nice point, Wayne. Thank you for that. Next one, please, Tess.
Okay. From Anthony, I get very few matches from younger women on apps. Biggest profile / photo errors. Okay. Don't use that, yeah. So this one, I think, what are some of the biggest errors? Okay. So I'm not sure. We'd have to see your dating apps, but if you're taking any like shirtless selfies where you're posing and just be like, that is that is such a turn off. Like for me personally, yeah, that is the worst thing ever. I don't care if you've got similar hobbies to me and whatever. I think you're attractive. I just hate that. I think it's gross. So potentially that, if you've got any photos like that. Yeah, I think how do you optimize your dating apps? You want to show a full picture. A full balanced picture of who you are. So you need variation in the framing, yeah. So headshot, body shot, you with other people, you candid photos doing things you love. We want the full picture of who you are, not just you working out at the gym with heaps of selfies. Cringe. That is so terrible. Never do that. So yeah. What else? Yeah, I think naturally smiling is always great. I think that it really you're really selling yourself as a person who's happy. Happy people are usually, it's because they've got good stuff in their lives. So naturally smiling is great in photos. What else? Yeah, just variation and the full picture. Yeah.
For guys who do have a good body or something, if you're doing boxing or doing Muay Thai, or you're actually having a fight, or you're rock climbing or surfing is a great one. If you take a topless shot in that situation, I think most girls will think that's really hot. But if it's just like, look like some Kim Kardashian woman in front of the mirror just posing, it's like, yeah, it's just repulsive and yucky. Even if you do have a really, really hot body, it's like, don't you have a friend to hold the camera for you or something? So yeah, it's not good. I mean, it might work with really desperate girls or much older girls, but probably not the ones you want. Great question, man. Next question. We're just rounding that out. Apps are dead. They're so dead. They were dead 4, 5, 6 years. They might have been okay during COVID, tiny bit. But yeah, the business model is gone. Everyone's a Photoshop expert. Instagram has completely taken over the dating app market. Just if you're wasting time on apps, I kind of feel sorry for you. I just really would not be doing that. They might have a tiny bit of utility traveling, but even then it's nothing like it used to be. And most girls are using dating apps as a funnel to get more Instagram followers, prostitutes, just scams. It's just not. And any girls you get on there who are even somewhat desperate must be so completely psychologically damaged, or single mums with 8 kids to 7 different guys or something. It's not a good situation these days, especially for quality women, which is what Social Coach is about. Next question, Tess.
Okay, a comment from Rangers. A woman being able to sleep with just about anyone and everyone is absolutely not a flex because it's repulsive. Okay. So do you want women who can't get anyone? Is that what you're trying to say, Rangers? I think women who a lot of people want to be with, I think that actually is attractive. It doesn't mean that she is sleeping with absolutely everyone and anyone. If she is able to, I think that's actually a positive thing, though. What do you think, James?
Oh, I mean, a really attractive woman, hypothetically, will have a very easy time getting guys to have sex with her. But I think people have done those studies lately where like a super hot girl ran around US colleges just going up to random guys saying, will you have sex with me, as a part of a psychological study. It was nowhere near as easy as you think, because she got rejected a whole bunch of times. And it was some of those African Americans who said, yeah, okay, let's do it. There's a lot of white guys like, oh, no, I've got a girlfriend. You could see how freaked out they were by the thought that they were going to have sex, and they were shy. So, yeah, I think if we'd gone back 20 or 30 or 40 years, I think a hot girl could have easily got lots of sex. But with men so beaten down and so feminized, I don't know if it's as simple as you think anymore. Hopefully I am, because I'm a dating coach, but I'm an expert at reading signals. I see stuff that most guys wouldn't see in 10 lifetimes, but just how desperate women are now, and how women, if I'm around other confident men, or I do something that shows some level of value and dress okay, and just maybe look them up and down once, women are just throwing themselves at me now, like, much more so than my 20s or early 30s, like even more when I had a whole bunch of bi girlfriends in my late 30s, early 40s. So, I mean, that's something I still can't. I sometimes tell these stories on YouTube Live, and I'm like, I look at myself, I go, if some guy who looked like that said that on YouTube, I wouldn't believe him, because they just seem preposterous. But it's just how badly men have been beaten down that women are now doing the picking up. And that's probably been happening in Sweden for a while, but it now seems to be almost a global thing. I saw something on Instagram or something where some, not as hot as Tess, but pretty hot girl, not like a proper model or anything. She was saying how an American went to Australia for the first time, and no guy talked to her anywhere, and so many women are complaining about this. That Australia is just barren from men, just won't talk to women. Okie dokie. Let's go on to the next one.
Okay, Anthony's asking how to get good in bed. Any tips?
Okay. The biggest one is to get your PC muscle working, because that's step one. So that's the number one thing. So go do your PC muscle exercises. That's like if you want to play basketball, you learn to dribble and shoot. So start dribbling. It's like sex dribbling. Until that's strong, it doesn't really matter what else we tell you.
Absolutely. But also foreplay is big, very, very important. So the more the better. The more she wants it, the more she's going to enjoy it. So foreplay is really important. Okay, so let's have a look here. A few other comments coming through. Pump her emotional state, be self-amusing to yourself, don't take anything serious. Remember, girls just want to have fun, be funny but not a clown, learn how to go from funny to James Bond instantly. I guess I agree with this. Being James Bond, what do you mean by James Bond? I think being sexy and charismatic and confident and masculine, they're all things I would associate with James Bond, and I think that that's amazing. So when you can balance that with being funny and lighthearted, that's really great.
Next question, Tess.
You should think of yourself as Michael Jordan of whatever you're good at: cooking, singing, dancing, magic tricks, etc. Well, I mean, if you're not Michael Jordan, then you just thinking yourself as Michael Jordan is potentially going to embarrass you if you're clearly not. I think being comfortable in your own skin and comfortable with your potential weaknesses is really, really important. And because you might not be Michael Jordan at what you're doing. So to just think of yourself as that is can be a little bit diluted. So yeah, being really comfortable in your own skin, it just shows supreme confidence and self-esteem, which is really, really, really important and attractive to women.
There's a question for you fellows. Apart from Lennon and McCartney, the songwriters, i.e. the Beatles, who is actually as good at who's as good at what they do as Michael Jordan is at basketball? Is there anyone? Because even if you think about Shakespeare, I think Tolstoy cancels him out. I can't think of anyone who's that superior to everyone else at what they do. The Beatles is the only one I can think of. Anyway, I'd love to know in the chats. We get a lot of Americans. Tell us in the replay too. Who is actually the Michael Jordan of what they do? Who can legitimately say that? I can't really think of anyone. No one, particularly in terms of anything that matters on a scale globally. He says Michael Jackson, but no, I think the Beatles are vastly superior to Michael Jackson. Like a joke. I mean, not Michael Jackson's a genius. He's maybe number two, but yeah, I still think the Beatles are the Beatles had so many incredible songs, whereas Michael Jackson had a few incredible songs, but nothing like the Beatles, let alone when you look at what they did. Okie dokie. Yeah, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, that's like the Flat Earth Society or something. That's just bizarre to me. I think Shaquille O'Neal in his prime is better than LeBron James. Be far more frightening to deal with. But I mean, they're all very good. Anyway, anyone can come up with anyone who's actually better than Jordan James. I don't know who that is. Anyway, back to getting you boys good girlfriends and a wee bit of fun. Next question.
A comment from 1107212. So interesting. I've traveled around Eastern Europe and had some incredible experiences with some gorgeous feminine women. Here in Australia, I have the impression that women are quite blasé generally.
Welcome to my world. I am three of the six greatest women of my life. Two from Russia, one educated in France, and one from Poland. And there's another Latvian who was really good. And I came back to Australia, and it was like a big desert. I've really had nothing. It's been really just, I mean, particularly when I lived in Bondi the early years, I slept with a lot of girls. Not like 100 a year, but 20 a year or something or more. But yeah, I've never really had anything. And the only girl who even came close was half Japanese, half German. Her dad was a management consultant, and she'd lived all over the world, and she was a high-level model and had a law degree, com degree. But she was still a joke compared to, unfortunately, the Soviet girls. So yeah, it is really, really tough to compete. And I've never met any Soviet girls who are sort of that caliber in Australia. I've met some good ones, but you tend to get Soviet girls of that caliber in New York. The Randwick boy. I didn't think anyone could do that. Yeah, when you think about coaches, Tony Robbins is the Michael Jordan of coaches. We need to give you some special prize. Yeah, there's Michael Jordan is the Tony Robbins of basketball. Yeah, so he's got me there. Probably even more so than probably more so than Michael Jordan or the Beatles, because I mean, Tony Robbins is Tony Robbins. I don't even know who number two is. It's not even worth talking about. So yeah, yeah, good point. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. You get a free boot camp. Currently, you are the Michael Jordan of teaching game, as far as I can tell. Terima kasih banyak. Muchas gracias. Merci beaucoup. And Tess, Tess is my Scottie Pippen. Hopefully she loves that compliment. So, yeah, and she's taking the social coach bulls to a level they haven't been before. So thank you, man. We have to save that one. Because I kind of think I am, because I know them all. I watch them on YouTube, and I can see they're much better marketers on YouTube than me. But then I look at what they say. It doesn't mean some of them don't add value, but I don't think any of them have done thousands of students on hundreds of boot camps. Aimed at quality women rather than large numbers of women too. Tess, I can put a star beside that one. I learned something today. I'll do the Tony Robbins comment as well. Oh, I started. Look what I learned today, Tess. Anyway, thank you so much, History Jerk. You've shot up to one of my favorites. What's the Rangers saying? $110. What do you mean? Is this for women? I don't know.
I think that means 110%. If you think Australia is bad, try the States.
There's good women in New York. I met, because like in New York, you go on a date one night, she works in the United Nations. You go on a date another night, she's a proper agency model. You go on a date another night, it's a girl studying psychology or philosophy at NYU, and then you get a girl who works in finance, and you get a girl at CBS. These are all girls I was dating. You get a girl as an actuary. So New York's pretty special. Unfortunately, a lot of them had bigger dicks than me. No, not quite. There's some rather masculine young ladies, as accomplished as they were. But yeah. But when you're talking about small town USA or some of the smaller cities, you might be right. Having said that, the hottest girl I saw in all of America was in Columbus, Ohio. Believe it or not. This girl was truly breathtaking. Oh, thank you. One of our new guys, Anthony's calling me the Michael Jordan too. And Tessa's the...
Oh, there goes James. Thank you. Really appreciate all the kind comments, guys, and all of your engagement. It's been awesome, especially for some of the new guys here. So, yeah, it's great to have you. Okay, here's James.
I'm definitely not the Michael Jordan of tech. I just jumped off accidentally. I don't know how I managed that one, but yeah. Anyway, thank you to Scotty Pippen for digging me out of that. Okay, next comment. I've missed a few. No, Lost Balloons says Bruce Lee. I don't know. I mean, if Bruce Lee had a fight with Caleb, I think Bruce Lee would be dead within... I think some guys on this YouTube live would have as good a chance against, pretty much the same chance against Caleb as Bruce Lee. But I know a lot of people worship him. Anyway, push back on that. I'm not a martial arts guy. Any martial arts guys, is Bruce Lee in any way special? Caleb's going to completely destroy him. And I think they're about the same weight. I mean, Conor McGregor, before all the cocaine and the Mayweather fight, would completely destroy him, I think. But anyway, push back. Good girl means not bipolar. Bipolar girls are fun in bed. I'm just defending bipolar girls for a second. I had a model in New York, and that was the best first-time sex I've ever had in English-speaking country, apart from one threesome. Yeah, I'm not saying they're all good in bed, but some of them can be good in bed. Mind you, she was playing around with my knives in the kitchen. I never got to sleep with her a second time. That was scary. So how are we going with the questions? Oh, good one from Ralph. We're jumping around. If you could be an animal, what would it be and why? That's a great question. Tess, if you were any animal, what would it be and why?
I'd be a dolphin.
I kind of thought that for my first two.
I mean, I love being in the ocean. Yeah, I'd love to play in waves. Dolphins are really highly intelligent and social, and they have sex for pleasure. So that's why I'd be a dolphin.
You should look deeper into the typical dolphin mating patterns, because there's a lot of
You've said this before, actually.
A lot of raping, pillaging, and killing kids, and forming tribes of high-value males to get, just like chimpanzees. It's not the biggest, strongest dolphins that win. It's the most politically capable who form the strongest coalitions. Are you tracking the questions much better?
Yeah, I mean, we're still like an hour behind in the questions, so
Well, thanks, guys. YouTube's gonna give us a bit of love.
I'm a little bit worried we're not going to get to all of them, but let's go to this one. Oh yeah, what's the best way to create the investment that a girl wants to stay talking? Deep questions, but they're too busy. Okay, so if she's in a rush, that's going to be really challenging. It is hard to stop a woman in her tracks. I guess on top of just asking deep questions that get her talking about something she wants to talk about, how do you cut through her needing to do something else and that sort of overriding things? I think the only thing maybe is if you're able to build some level of sexual attraction immediately. So yeah, really good eye contact. Yeah, potentially if you're able to create eye contact from a distance as well, so that she's actually can see you approaching when she's not taken by surprise completely, then that's going to help for sure. But yeah, it is hard. It's hard if a woman's in the middle of something. Yeah.
When I've been promiscuous or where I've had a girlfriend who was already really attractive, I found it much easier. If, and this is something that we actually help people with, if you can get that extreme level of confidence, imagine the hottest girl you can realistically imagine, big boobs, hip to waist ratio, everything you could ask for. Imagine her running along the beach in a white bikini, wobble, 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 and the ass just going perfectly, and lightly tanned, perfect firm skin and thick hair, big lips, all that sort of thing. A really feminine sort of vibe. That's what a confident man is like to a woman. They just lose themselves. And yeah, I mean, I've spent quite good chunks of my life being that guy, and the stuff that women do just does not make sense. It's just completely irrational, the way women will act around that. It's like you could get Newton or Tesla or Elon Musk or David Rockefeller or Napoleon or I don't know, Muhammad Ali or the most remarkable human beings in history. You could put that hot girl in a bikini running down the beach, and they're just gone. So, and that's what it's like for women when they get that supremely confident guy who's well presented, particularly if they can see that other men or other women give him interest too. Then yeah, that's the single biggest thing. And all the social skills training, all the reading signals, all the female psychology training we give you is so that you can get as close to that guy as possible. And we've had so many 5'6", balding, weird, dorky, slightly Asperger's, like 54-year-old graying 5'3" guys. We've given them this 5'5", severe health problems, lucky to be alive other than a kidney transplant, very weak jawline. We've had all these students who've had the most insane results with women just by making them as close to that as we can. So I think that's the best way to answer it. But yeah, it takes practice, it takes skill, and it takes a bit of, hot women in your past to know that you're worth it. Next question.
Okay, this is a comment. Rangers are saying this was addressed at one of the other attendees, but leadership is pointless unless they want to be led or desire to be led specifically by a man. If she doesn't realize she needs or wants it, then she'll perceive it as controlling. Okay, I think that, yeah, I think that women do like to be led in general. Even if she doesn't realize that she wants it, she would enjoy being led. And that just means, when a guy's making suggestions like, hey, let's do this, or how about we do this, or whatever, you're just taking the initiative. It doesn't mean you're saying, do this right now, and being really forceful, in which case you might, that might be way too much. But when you're just being proactive and making those suggestions, like let's say on a date, leading her the way, hey, let's sit over there. It just shows that you're a decisive person. You're confident and you can take the lead. Of course, there needs to be some flexibility. If she's like, actually, no, I want to sit over there. I like it over there because of whatever. Let's go sit over there. Cool, great. You don't say, no, I'm the leader. We're sitting there. You say, yeah, cool, no worries. Let's sit there. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, being the leader taking that initiative doesn't mean that you have to assume that role in every scenario. But I think that women do appreciate that. There's nothing worse than a man who's like, oh, so would it be okay if we do this? Like, is that something you enjoy? Do you like that? Or do you prefer this more? It's just pathetic. It's weak. It's So leadership is good. I think in all regards it's good, but you need to be flexible as well. And it doesn't have to be like your way or the highway.
Yeah, women will tend to respond to leaders more than anything else. I was making a joke about issues of having problems where one of the biggest issues in your business is girls want to sleep with you. And if you reject them a bit harshly, or sometimes you even got to pretend you do just to get them to work. And I was sharing this with a guy who owns a bunch of companies. He goes, yeah, it's a big issue, particularly if you're very confident in what you do. I mean, he wasn't a particularly good looking guy. I'm not a particularly good looking guy. So women are just respond to leaders, confident leaders, the same way we respond to that hypothetical woman running down the beach. Next question. We might need to really fly through them. I might do a few in a row, and then you can tell me if you want anything to add.
Go ahead. I've lost my spot now. Okay, sorry. Okay. Ranger is saying, if with a woman and another guy approaches her, don't be that guy to make the choice for her or be a simp. Simply stand back and watch. If she doesn't immediately say no and walk to you, walk away.
If with a woman, don't be that guy to make a choice for her and be a simp. I personally wouldn't do that. I just, as soon as a guy comes up and tries to steal my girl, Tess, is your internet connection okay? What I do in that situation, it's happened to me so many times. I'll just go, hey, how you doing, man? I'm James. And I'll try to blow him out with energy. And a lot of guys will see that, whatever, in this situation, I'm more alpha than them. And then I tend to win. If not, I sort of make friends with the guy. Most guys who come up and it's never really been an issue for me. It's an issue with some of my students, but you've just got to appear more confident, and then they'll tend to just go away unless he's drunk, in which case it can be a pain in the ass. But if he's drunk, then the girl wants to get away from him every bit as much.
I completely agree. If you're just letting some guy take control of the scenario, potentially, what if he's really charismatic and attractive and whatever, and steals this woman's attention? How long do you stand and watch for until you decide to just walk away? Like you've basically just lost. You've given up. I think James's approach is absolutely what you need to do. You need to take command of that scenario and not lose. You can't just submit to that. I think what Range is saying is that you're testing the woman to see how much she values you, etc. But if it's too early on and you haven't established that level of commitment, then why wouldn't she just talk to another guy that comes and approaches her? Like, how does she know how valuable you are as a guy if you haven't proven that to her? I think this approach ranges. You're basically just taking up the dregs of whatever other people don't want. If that's how you approach things.
The other factor is when you start dating hot girls, you're constantly having to bail them out of situations where guys are just coming up to them. You go to the toilet, you come back, there's a guy talking. You don't just let her sort of fend them off herself, because it's a lot of energy. Yeah. And I've been told off quite a few times, like, dude, why didn't you come help? And I'm just like, I don't know, you seem to be enjoying the conversation. I was just being nice. You meant to take me by hand and pull me away from strange mans. That's if the girl really likes you. If she's just like with you to see how it's going, then yeah, I mean, I just think so much of the responsibility is on men to be the best you can, and the women don't even look at other guys. Like, people just don't understand this. If you have the social skills, you have the leadership skills, you have the bedroom skills, you're honest, and you got stuff in common, women aren't looking around for other options. They're just not. If they are, you got the wrong woman, or she's insecure or something. I mean, I don't know how it'd be if Leonardo DiCaprio came along, but I just don't think guys should be constantly testing women to see their loyalty. It's just like the situation where guys are warning women, you cheat on me, it's over. Rich guys are saying this. You're just waving a red flag to a bull and putting it straight in front of you, waiting to be sent to hospital or a grave. These are my opinions, but I just introduce myself to the guy, and if he's kind of weird, the girl will see it, and then you can just have to read the signals and do the best you can. But yeah, if you're trying to pick the girl up and he comes along and tries to get her off you, and you realize he's a cool guy, you might have a really good wing who's more valuable to you than one random girl. So yeah, but having said that, if it's a cool wing, he's probably good enough to read signals to tell that she's kind of into you, and that now's not a good time to approach. But you might have just gone to the bathroom and come back, in which case, anyway, we're going far too deep on this. But women's want man who protects women's as well. Next question.
Okay. History says, do you keep asking questions, or do you switch to making more statements later and hope she relates? Juggler wrote about statements are better, but I found that many women need a prompt to share more. Okay. Again, yeah.
I'll cover that, Tess, because you don't know the history. I disagree with the statement things. There's times where it's good, but you just want to ask really good open-ended questions and get the girl talking. That's it. And in the end, she's talking so much that all you're thinking about is touching her and the date plan, and then maybe sharing a little bit about yourself in bite-sized pieces. This makes statements. It's again a pickup artist insecurity thing where you don't want to overcommit. You don't want to get rejected. It's just like, I'm interested in you right now. I'm a busy guy. You've got my whole attention. Okay, you're boring. I'm leaving. That should be your mantra. It's binary. You're either there or not. This sort of mystery method, your nose wiggles when you talk, over a rounded shoulder, or, letting girl, stepping back when a guy comes up to try to take her off you. I don't agree with this stuff at all. People are welcome to push back on me in this. But yeah, statements is like just being lame, expecting the girl to invest in you because you're scared of being rejected. And yeah, a number of times a girl, I've gone up to her and talked to her and she's rejected me, or she won't let me sleep with her on the first date. Then she's just throwing herself at me on the second date. Or so many times on boot camps, a girl might have rejected me and she follows me around the whole freaking night. There was a really savage one a while ago where, I had a bit of grey, but the guy beside me was fairly grey, even though he was a good-looking guy. And I just go, hey, how you doing? I'm James. Come meet my handsome friends. And the guy with the grey was a really handsome guy. And she goes, you're too old for me. That's creepy talking to younger women. What are you doing here? And I said, okay, no worries. So I just left her and went off and talked to like 9 Swedish girls who were like 5 years younger than her. And I didn't do the stick my tongue out thing like one of my sort of mentors did. But then she just stalked me the rest of the night, just stalked me. Even when I was leaving sneaking out of the boot camp, she was waiting for me outside the men's bathrooms to talk to her, giving it this one. So yeah, sort of rejection, who cares? It doesn't matter. There's 4.5 other million women in the world. Don't worry, just get another one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't agree with making statements, just trying to get the girl to invest to show she's interested in you. Just assume she's interested. Like Daniel Craig, James Bond, no, I'm the best thing that happened to you in your life, honey. We try to make you into the guy who believes that. And then the woman thing comes a lot easier. Let's go. More questions. We better wrap up fairly shortly.
Ranger says, I went to the farmer's markets this morning and a friend was talking to a woman about tea and herbs. Guys, remember to be interesting and knowledgeable. Learn something and how to contribute to a topic. Okay, this is...
I agree completely. I always tell my students some of the best girls you'll meet are in the organic section. So a farmer's market would be close. So I've learned a tiny bit about how to activate your organs, almonds and your different nuts. And, you know, I've slept with girls several times because they just crap on about how they make sauerkraut or how they activate almonds or something. So, yeah, agree with that. But the best way to be interesting is to be interested. So let's move on to the next question. We've got a bunch to get through.
Absolutely. The best way to be interesting is to be interested. That's key. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay. Stevie says, do younger women respect ambition and drive, or does it intimidate them? Absolutely respect ambition and drive. Yes. It may be slightly intimidating, but that could be a good thing.
Drive can be very intimidating. If you're at a higher station in life than her and she's young and hot, that can be a problem. Anyway, I'm going to be careful what I say here. I went on a date with a girl who was like a huge like Instagram girl. She wasn't like a proper model, and slightly big-headed, but she was kind of crazy about me. But to the point where she was so nervous on the date, I'm just like, and I ended up just going after this Danish girl who was really fun. And then she just kept texting me and kept in touch with me. One of my female trainers who knows me quite well, I've caught up with her socially, professionally. I shared the story with her. She goes, yeah, but you're just so sure of yourself and intense and blah, 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 blah. And she really helped me understand that a lot of girls might feel that way, you know, whatever. I made quite a bit of money young and traveled to over 100 countries and did some of the dumbest, craziest shit ever. And I've made most of my money doing live event selling, which requires a lot of confidence. So yeah, you can certainly intimidate them. That's again, it's all fits together. That's where you got to be able to read signals and see what you're dealing with. I might go to the next question, Tess.
Here's a comment from GM. Women are naturally lazy and want to just shut their brains off. She just wants to get you to get it, understand her female nature. Their loyalty is to their feelings, hack her feelings. Okay, I don't know if women are naturally lazy, but I do understand what you mean, shutting their brains off. I think that, I don't know if I like that delivery, but I think that women, okay, let's say on a date, if she doesn't have to make all the decisions, and you're like, hey, let's go to this place, let's do this. And yeah, even to the extent of maybe she doesn't want to have to bother about looking at the menu if you're at a restaurant and you just order some things for you guys to share. That's not about her being lazy and wanting to shut her brain off. It's also about her wanting to just enjoy herself. So it's a lot more, life is a lot more relaxing when you don't have to make decisions, which is why when people go traveling, potentially the appeal of like, you know, an organized tour or a cruise or something, it's relaxing because you're not having to organize where your accommodation and your transport and your tours, etc. You're just getting wined and dined, and yeah, you don't have to make decisions. So I think everybody enjoys that, just being able to relax. And I think that women actually tend to overthink things a lot more than men. And that means that in our day-to-day lives, we're planning for the future. We're always planning for future things, what we're doing in the next week, month, blah, 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 blah. When we think about scenarios between interacting with people, we're going over all the different possibilities of that scenario and how to problem solve all those things. Yeah, I think that a lot of women are like that. So when we're able to be on a date and be with a man who can, yeah, take the lead in some way, and we are able to shut our brains off, or just not have to overthink everything. That's just relaxing. That's really that is enjoyable for us. That's a good thing. But yeah, I don't think we're naturally lazy. Yeah, but I do agree with hacking her feelings. Absolutely, the way women think is all around relationships, feelings, emotions. That's all we talk about when women get together. Our relationships, feelings, emotions. So if you're able to hack that, you're able to just communicate with her the way that it's natural for her. So that's good.
I'll touch two words on that. Some women are naturally lazy, but I definitely wouldn't say that about all of them. So are they as ambitious as men in terms of they'll just work 80 hours a week for 20 years to get rich? No, that's a very small percentage of women, but I wouldn't necessarily mean they're lazy. I mean, the effort they put in as mothers and what they go through. I mean, they're single mothers, like one of the most disciplined people in the entire world to actually hold down a job and do an even half decent job of raising kids. Next question, please.
Ranger says, much of that is true. If a woman's loyalty is to her feelings and not to a man, then any man could have it depending on how she feels. No, it's not. She's not just only loyal to her feelings over everything else. Obviously, in a relationship, a woman would develop loyalty to a man. Yes. There's no. There are some. When you say something like women are loyal to their feelings, it doesn't mean that's the only thing that they're loyal to above everything else. Okay, GM is saying, with females, remember this. 1, 2, 3. 1, the first interaction, have fun, pump emotions, playful teasing. Give her a spin, like if you're dancing salsa. 2, build rapport with her, get her info. And 3 is go from funny to James Bond. Now this is when Mr. Sexy comes out. Okay, that's interesting. I'm wondering where you got this sort of formula from, but yeah, I do agree that number one, having fun and tapping into her emotions, etc., is a great way to build initial rapport. Obviously, when you're starting with more fun, lighthearted topics, etc., it's easy for a woman to like warm up to you. Let's say, bring down any barriers. To build rapport with her, get her info. So yeah, I would say 2 would be more about like going deeper beyond that, beyond the superficial fun level of stuff, like a little bit more personal, get a little bit more serious. And then you're saying number 3 is go from funny to James Bond. You don't necessarily have to be funny in the beginning, playful teasing, etc. If that's not something that's natural to you at all. I think if you're forcing being funny and that's not a strength of yours, it's just terrible, really, really bad. So don't worry about being funny if that's not something that's easy for you. But yeah, Mr. Sexy, that's when Mr. Sexy comes out. No, I would actually argue that you should be being sexy right from the beginning. Coming across as confident in your body language, the way you communicate, etc., that's sexy. Eye contact, touch, etc. So sexy has to be integrated. It's not about sexy coming out later.
Tess, next one. Good, we've got a bunch of comments today. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Why even be asking emotional or in-depth questions unless you know she's interested? Maybe after a date or there's been some investment first. Otherwise, she's probably just looking for validation. So how do you get her on the first date? How do you even get her on the first date if she's not interested? This is about, so asking the emotional or in-depth questions is about building early rapport, not just superficial level rapport. So why would she go on a date with you unless she's just taking a chance based on something very superficial about you? I
might just jump in there, Tess. Okay, so what we do, we're trying to get women way out of their league. Now, there's a couple of ways to do that. There's only really 2. One is to somehow have or somehow demonstrate really high status, like a whole bunch of men are giving you energy or a whole bunch of women are giving you energy. That works. It's very powerful. If you don't have that or you don't do that, the only way to get attractive girls is to connect with them. The only way to get girls you don't deserve is to connect with them. You can be much more, you'll be much more confident than everyone else. But so much of that is about connecting with them, because when you're actually around tons and tons of hot girls, they don't care about your cars or this or your job. It's completely irrelevant to them. What you need to have is you need to connect with them and you need to have stuff in common. That's all they care about. Now, you can get much more attention if you use social proof. So why be asking emotional or in-depth questions? Because you've got to connect to the girl. That's the only tool you've got. And all these sort of games, I mean, they might get you a whole shitload of average girls or whatever girls, but we've found after doing this for 20 years, to get guys, girls out of their league, you've just got to connect with them. Yes, you've got to be confident. Yes, you've got to be well presented. Yes, if you can use social proof, that's going to really help. And we build that into our date plans. But yeah, anyway, great comment. Thank you. That's why we do it, because you want to separate yourself from every other silly dude who's chasing them. Which is why most of the great women of my life, some of whom made more money from one job modeling to live for the rest of their life. The reason we had that connection is because we had a ton in common. It was usually about travel and books with me. I haven't dated any model who loves collecting vintage shoes, funnily enough. I've slept with one, but not too many times. Let's go again. Next question.
GM says, I highly recommend learning how to salsa dance. Don't worry about the language, just follow the music. Great number one way to get women, especially Latinas. Salsa dancing teaches men how to lead a woman.
Agreed. That's cool. Yeah. We don't salsa dance, swing dance, bachata, any of them we recommend to our clients. We better go on to the next question.
Here we go. Tess talked about connect with her on an intimate level. How do guys do that besides letting her talk about it? Do you teach guys how to relate to her emotions by sharing what they felt the same? Yes. So yeah, obviously you don't want it to become platonic or like a therapy session. That's not sexy at all. But being able to allow a woman to open up around her emotions. And that doesn't necessarily just mean deep personal emotions. Like, we're talking about early rapport building. This is about probably more fun, excited type emotions, something she loves, etc. Later down the track, if you do get a bit more personal, you talk about like challenges, vulnerabilities, etc. That's more leaning towards like building trust, let's say. But yeah, anytime you can empathize with a woman, be like, yeah, I agree. I've had a similar experience. Oh, I know what that feels like. That sort of thing. Just any sort of empathy is, you're just showing that you're similar to her in some way. And yeah, again, women, if you can understand the world in a similar way, then that's alluding to the fact that you would potentially make good partners. Similar interests, similar deeper values, having had similar experiences, that sort of thing. Yeah, I think relating is really important. But yeah, relating. So when you talk about relating, like, oh yeah, I surf, me too, I surf. That's very superficial level. But when you're talking about, the value that surfing gives in your life, which is a lot more emotional, and you connect to that, that's a lot stronger and deeper than just I also do that activity, right? Okay, next. Okay.
30 seconds, so we can do a bunch.
Sorry, Des.
No, it's okay.
If women are starving,
if women are starved for attention, it's not men's job to entertain them. They can go to a comedy club for attention. Attention is I don't understand all these fancy things. A hell of a drug. Attention from one man is great. Yeah, women absolutely love attention, and guys have got to be careful. They're giving women attention, but not getting dates and sex. That's something so many guys fall for. And women are experts at doing this. Next question, Tess. Agree completely. Good question. If you have 3 wishes before you get old, like Rose at the end from the Titanic movie, what would the wishes be? That's an excellent question. Great. Thank you. Next one. I give advice and act like a mentor. Is the dad role a turnoff? That's a great question. Can you ask that in the live video? Because I just don't have the time to go into it now. Like when you're dating younger women, it's good to sort of guide their life in the correct way, but you don't want to come where it sounds like a father-daughter relationship. So, and that can be a fine line sometimes. Because I've had some young girls who I had to fix up a lot of shit just to keep dating them. I had one girl who ate sort of an average Australian diet with, she was really hot, and it wasn't that fun having sex with her compared to some of the other girls I was having sex with her with. So yeah, that's a balancing act. If you can ask that when we go live, that would be amazing. Next one, Tess. If a woman's asking questions like who you are in a certain scenario, or she's already comparing you to a guy, or she's already comparing a guy to the rest because she thinks she's beautiful, just leave her be. I don't know, women compare and contrast like men do. I'm comparing and contrasting women all the freaking time. So I personally wouldn't run away just on that basis alone. Having said that, when you date really beautiful women, once they get into their late 20s, early 30s, they can have had quite an impressive line of boyfriends. So yeah, if you just make okay money and you're dating some woman who's used to being flown around in jets, no matter how much better you are than the other guy, someone's got to ask yourself if it's worth it. Because it doesn't matter how great your relationship is. She'll be like, oh yeah, but why can't we fly first class to London? Because it's like $15,000 or more. That's business anyway. Let's get the next question. We'll try to do as many as we can in like 3 minutes. How do I keep up with her energy and interest without trying too hard to act young? Wayne, can you please ask that when the video goes live? That's an excellent, excellent question. It should be live in about 30, 40 minutes. That would mean the world to me and Tess. I'll give you a much better answer there. Next one, Tess. Is it creepy for a man over 40 to approach young women in real life, or is there a right way? Yes, there is a right way. Tess, can you explain that in 25 seconds or less?
Yeah, the right way, use the opener that we gave you. Don't be ogling her or talking about her her appearance straight away, and that's creepy. That's creepy. But if you just go and introduce yourself or ask her a question that's that gets her talking about herself, that's not creepy at all. She's not going to have a barrier up there. We've talked about this all night tonight.
I'll read them out and then I might throw to you. Next one.
Okay. Let's have a look here.
If a guy sees more value in her than she sees in him, that's more likely a massive problem. She won't value or respect him and probably turn him into a side piece. Absolutely. No doubt. Yeah, absolutely. It's like if a girl sees more value in me than I see in her, the same thing happens. Yep. Next question, Tess.
Just a nice comment here. It's a really great comment.
Yeah, thank you. We've had a bunch of requests to coach clients' sons. So yeah, you can turn him into a complete monster. Especially at 16, he's just ready to take off and get to university and get a whole bunch of diseases that he'll need some interesting pills for. In the most embarrassing of places. Sorry, that was a bit gross. Next question, Tess. Wayne, don't worry about feeling weird, getting younger chicks. All you have to do is look the part. Masculine, smell good, dress well, think of yourself as the king. Younger females get wet for that. They do, but not all younger females. You got to understand that, yeah, there's a good percentage of women, particularly more enlightened women, who do want much older men, but it's not all of them. Some of them think we're repulsive and weird. And so, yeah, it's not like every single woman wants to date younger women or every single woman doesn't. Next one, Tess. What's the time? Cheating doesn't work the same for men and women. Yeah, that's sort of a statement of the bleeding obvious. It's more like on the value of men thing. Yeah, because for men, if a woman cheats on us, we might need to spend all our money raising some kid for 18, 20 years. So the cost is horrendous. So yeah, the cost's pretty bad for women too. You might impregnate another woman and then cost them their resources, but the humiliation for the man, I think, is worse than the woman. Because what's it called? Cuckolding's like every guy's worst nightmare. It does happen a bit. Next question. Wayne, they get wet from a man. Younger females always looking for older men. They just want eye contact. Younger the better. Yeah, you can't say all young females are looking for older men. There is a lot if you're confident, but it's not all of them. There's certain younger women who are like genetically attracted to younger men, which to me doesn't make much sense evolutionarily, because they're just teaching some young stud how to get women much better than them when their tits droop. But that is a thing too. What's the time? We've been going too long. Oh God. Okay, we'll do 2 more questions and then we'll call it a night. Wayne, the world doesn't like men who want young females because they want you to be a good stepdad too. An older woman is already stuck in her ways. Possibly. It's just not good for the economic order if we're running around competing for younger women. So I probably agree with that. Tess, is there anyone who's asked questions that we want to give the last 2 minutes to?
Let me just see. There are so many questions, guys. I'm so sorry we haven't been able to get to them all. I've just been
now. Please do us and you a huge favor. I will put some actual time into giving you very comprehensive, thoughtful answers when the video goes live. So if any of you asked any questions or any of you made any comments, please put them in the live video. That's really going to support Social Coach. It'll give you a fantastic answer you can refer back to again and again, and I'll give it much more consideration than I would now. So yeah, any questions that we haven't answered, we're very sorry about that. We want to get to everyone, but yeah, when we start going longer than 3 hours, I think YouTube is brutal on us, and I've got to be respectful for Tess's time as well. Anyway, you guys have been a great crowd. I think this is our best certainly interaction ever, and I think we got really good view times. Whether that's, I think we got a very good view time. Yeah, we got pretty good view time. So thank you so much for your support, guys. Thanks to the new clients who've picked up, particularly in the US. If you want to get that date with Tess, just click the link below. She will change your life. She will completely change your life. We're having all sorts of great feedback just about the Zoom sessions alone. And yeah, thanks for your support. Thank you so much for the lovely Tess, aka Scotty Pippen. And keep smiling, and bye for now. Oh, quickly, we've got 2 boot camps in a row, so we might be absent for a little while. I'll talk to Tess about whether we can do a Tuesday one or something, but we will be very, very busy. But we will be back very, very shortly. So yeah, keep smiling, and bye for now. If you want to date with Tess, click the link below. And thanks for your support, guys. And please put any of these great questions into the live chat. I will make sure I get onto that very, very quick. See you, dudes.
See you guys. Good night.